Hello and welcome to my stream today, where I am back to playing more Girls Frontline, where the Slow Shock event is still in a full focus of my streams right now. Because honestly, the story is just really fucking interesting. I stopped yesterday, doing military NG story, and honestly, the character that appears to be in the preview for the next chapter seems to be a character that we've gotten to learn of yesterday, and also kind of neat, which would be Hela. And no, that's not... I mean, it's probably referring to the mythology thing, but at the same time, it's also a character that... yeah. Anyway. Welcome. You look a lot less alive than before. Wing of a blue roller. Okay. Alright. Junior Lieutenant Angelia. Sure picked an interesting infiltration route. Alright. Have a nice time, I see. Just hold your breath. And I crawled forward in the severe dark sewers, putting one arm in front of the other. Ramson's artificial arm produces soft echoing thunks that it knocks against the surface of the pipe. The space is filled with the stench of blood, and I can even feel her skin brushing over some sort of sticky, lumpy substance. Just like back then, in Bestland High School's gymnasium. In the early phase of the operation, you must attempt to infiltrate the facility without alerting the enemy to your presence. Exposure could spell the failure for the rest of the operation. Initiating combat before the enemy grasps your intentions yields the greatest result. That is not to say that the enemy will sit there and wait for you to beat them up like idiots. Just do whatever you can to keep them in the dark as long as possible so that they cannot react in time. Sometimes you will have to stay utterly still and quiet the whole while, and sometimes you can distract the enemy by causing some kind of commotion. Basically, you must learn to apply different methods depending on the situation. Amidst the billowing dust, the cadets crawl on their knees through a low barbed wire fence. Anna pants heavily and keeps choking on the dust in the air. You think the enemy will give you time to rest? Control your breathing and keep crawling. The barbed wire fence is now a dark, endless sewer. Anna keeps crawling. The entrance is far behind, and there's no knowing how much farther they have to go. All of a sudden, Ramsey comes to a stop, and almost ends up shoving a face into his soles. After a few seconds, or maybe longer, Ramsey's still not moving, and I finally ask in the tiniest whisper, "What's wrong?" There are things in the plant. Yes, there are things all over Capita's lair. It's strange, it almost feels like I'm being drawn to them. Don't tell me a heartbreakingly beautiful woman is waiting for you in there. Just hurry up, I'm gonna puke. Swallow it. In the quiet plants, the clattering of a pushcart grows louder as it comes closer. Once the professor has gone, we'd also better get out of here quickly. Without the professor's tranquilizer, these monsters will go fully rabid and come after human flesh. They look like they've got elites, but also not. What do you think the professor is researching? Don't ask, just do what you're told. What's the smell? In the sewer, Anna and Ramson stay utterly still with bated breath, their hands still gripping their guns tightly. The footsteps get even closer. The soldiers are practically right above them. What else can it be? Even the ventilation valve can't get rid of the foul stink. And metal door is opened. Something is thrown inside heavily. So many specimens didn't make the cut today. Let's go already. The soldiers dust their hands off and leaves. A short while later, the drainage grate of the sewers open with a creak. An artificial arm grabs onto the floorboards and Ramson stiffly pulls himself out. Following the sound they just heard, Anna finds a metal door that was opened not long ago. She peers inside through the hole about the size of her hand. Victor? Victor's conjured wound had already solidified. Underneath the bloodstains are solidified skin tissues. The greyish crystalline substance had spread across half the sunken face. Victor's lying on the very top of a pile of bodies, wide-eyed and utterly still. The bodies beneath him are dressed in different military uniforms and even civilian clothes. No wonder the sewers are unguarded. If these monsters were awake, any infiltrator would be torn to shreds. Monsters? Who's the real monster here? Anna clenches her jaw. 8 minutes left. Distract the enemy by causing some kind of commotion. Simple but effective method. Remember that? No. Oh. Alright, let's go separate ways. You go and gather your intel. I must also do what I set out to do. Quite a few more. Without the pushcart, you... The soldier's chatter stops abruptly. He stares at the two standing people. Monsters? Quick, close the door! Did on purpose, didn't you? Good spotted. Go on, then. Just before the door closes completely, Anna dives through the gap. She kicks the soldiers over and turns the control valve the other way. The door opens again with a groan. Enemy attack! The soldier is just about to speak into the intercom, but Anna has already grabbed his wrist and given it a twist. The joiner's arm goes limp, and the intercom is knocked away. The accompanying soldier turns and runs. Move. Anna tilts her head. Clang. A bullet brushes past the door and hits the fleeing soldiers in the thigh. Is this so-called proper demonstration of how to infiltrate an enemy camp? Robson runs through the door. Before the soldier can shoot him, he kicks the gun aside and crashes right into the soldier. The two men roll across the floor, arresting each other. Robson wraps his arms and legs around the soldier to pin him down. Then, he raises his artificial arm and punches the soldier right in the face. The soldier grows still instantly. With blood splattered all over his face, Ramson's grin looks all the more terrifying. And a proper demonstration of CQC. Anna throws another punch at the soldier's face and interrogates him in English. How do we stop releasing the tranquilizer? The soldier presses his lips together in silence, but his eyes drift towards something behind Anna. Anna turns to look, but the soldier suddenly throws himself at her. Anna's knocked off balance while the soldier dashes straight towards the intercom. A jet of blood erupts and the soldier crumples to the floor. Ramson lowers his gun. Don't hesitate when you shoot. I never hesitate when shooting beasts. Anna starts tapping away at the operation interface without another glance at the soldier on the floor. The last soldier's security clearance is still in effect. Tranquilizer valve closed. Ramson plucks a few weapons and magazines off the dead soldiers and hands one to Anna. Reviving agent valve open. Specimen compartment 1 open. Specimen compartment 2 open. Specimens gradually awaken and start crawling or shuffling into the corridor with their contorted bodies, the last expression still frozen on their faces as they died. A voice suddenly speaks through the intercom on the floor. Idiot, who told you to open the specimen compartments? Where the hell are you? Respond! Ramson lifts his leg and stomps the intercom to pieces with ease. He looks toward the corpses shuffling along the corridor. Victor and the 3 transport drivers are among the horde. They wander around and are instinctively attracted to sound. Save run for me, if we fail, or... Save me one too. And also sees their former comrades. Do you think the skunks are fighting side by side? Shots and running footsteps can be heard from above. Squad is heading this way, and another is upstairs. Second or third floor? Right, now, their priority must be protect the professor, so Capita is the one is in one of the rooms upstairs. We only have one chance. Clack, direct the slide of their guns. Time to chop off the head. Ramson and Anna make their way to the stairwell and start climbing the stairs quickly. Ramson leans sideways and shoots at a soldier upstairs. The soldier topples over and falls down the stairwell right in front of Anna. To the 3rd floor. Enemy attack! Protect the professor! Heavy footsteps come from downstairs. The monsters have escaped. Keep going up. In just a few seconds, Anna and Ramson have reached the corridor on the 3rd floor. The shouts and cries from downstairs grow more and more frequent, and the monsters' howls have gradually moved up to the 2nd floor. There's no cover in the corridor, we'll just have to run for it. Anna and Ramson look at each other and nod. Wait. The door is pushed open. A torrent of bullets comes pouring in. And it ducks back behind the door immediately. What's wrong with you? Ramsden remains silent, exhaustion written all over his face. I can hear the rattling sound of upper and lower teeth knocking against each other. The monsters are slowly coming up the stairs, some on 2 legs, some on all fours. Running footsteps come down the 3rd floor corridor. The 4 guards are closing in on them. There's no time. Cover me. Anna rolls back out and fires consecutive shots down the corridor while staying close to the floor. Bullets whiz past Anna over her head. Blood splatters onto the wall behind the 2 of the guards in the corridor. Ramsden also exchanges fire with the remaining 2 guards. Ramsden! The guards collapse. But a bullet also hits Ramsden in the chest. He stumbles back a few steps and crumbles to the floor. Anna rushes up to him and drags him to the wall. Just then, the door at the end of the corridor opens again. 4 more soldiers come out to defend the door. A new round of barrage renders the area just a few meters long completely impenetrable. How long till the aircraft gets here? The enemies are getting close. An impatient voice shouts through the intercom. 2 minutes. Fuck, there are too many monsters. We can't get them up there. We can't get up there. Grenades, rocket launchers, use everything you've got. Get your asses up here even if you have to crawl. No harm can come to the professor. Behind the wall, Anna applies pressure to Ramsden's bullet wound. Ramsden, you wuss. You're literally just 1 step away. Ramsden's gaze slowly loses focus. His violet-colored eyes are both clear and hollow. Monsters with contorted and broken bodies wearing military uniforms are getting closer and closer to the staircase. By now, Anna can already clearly make out every wrinkle on their faces and the blood crusted on the nails. Anna can hear heavy firepower being deployed downstairs. Punch through the weakest point in the enemy's defenses, reach the target as quickly as possible, and put an end to the fight. Anna lets go of Ramsden and loads her last magazine. I know it's stupid to just charge in, but there's no other way. Comrades, wait for me. The odor of rot and decay assaults her nose. The monsters are barely 2 meters away, and the scent of living humans excites them. Anna rises and braces herself for one last charge. But all of a sudden, something grabs Anna by the ankle. On the floor, Ramsden's eyes snap open. They're now bright red. Ramsden? Ramsden holds on to Anna's ankle. His rigid body writhes as he clambers to his feet. The bullet buried in his chest is pushed right up by his silicified muscles. Elite. His torn protective suit, their unprotected reunion outside the plant, the elbow thrust that he did not dodge, the strange draw that the plant had on him. Anna pulls the trigger with trembling hands. Yeah, okay, he was getting too much radiation the whole time. Didn't die by enemy's bullets, but... Anna loses the gun and watches blankly as the monsters tear their way towards her. Ramsden raises his arms. And then suddenly lets out a shrill roar. He turns around and starts knocking the monsters away ferociously. Amidst the flying chunks of flesh and torn garments, he tears and bites and howls like a wild beast. Ramsden. Ramsden lets out another roar. The monsters seem to have received some sort of command and start rushing down the corridor. Ramsden's chin is covered in gore, and his eyes are still blank and unfocused. He makes no responses to Anna's calls. Ramsden. The monsters are coming. The string of gunshots erupts once more, but silicified flesh is extraordinarily hard, so regular small caliber rounds cannot do meaningful damage. Anna follows behind Ramsden. The horde of monsters are blocking her view. She can only hear the soldiers' piteous screams. Shrieks of terror, gunshots, cries, dying groans. Anna stays close to Ramsden and inches closer and closer to the room at the end of the corridor. Other than Anna, there are no more living humans outside the door. The monsters paw at the tightly shut door futilely. Running footsteps come from the staircase again. Shell erupts behind her. Right before she is sent flying, Anna feels something shielding her from behind, like the safety box that concealed her completely back then. The powerful impact clears the corridor and blows the door right open. Ramsden! His back is completely blown apart. He's lying sprawled on the floor like a torn dish rag. Hampton chokes out one last broken syllable, then grows utterly still. I'm safe for now. Is the aircraft still not... Huh? The one speaking by the floor-to-ceiling window sounds cold and matter-of-fact. She speaks with a bit of vocal fry. Anna, who's been inspecting Ramsden's injuries, whirls around and points a gun at the figure. When she makes out the person's face, Anna's eyes widen. Miss Minor? The one standing in the sunlight shining through the window. Her eyes glint coldly. The sunlight highlights a profile. I never thought we'd meet again under these circumstances. Anna? You're Capita. Yes. You're the one who doing this kind of monstrous research. Yes. Why? No amount of explanation will ever change our positions. Perhaps this was meant to be from the very beginning. We are destined to stand on opposing sides in the world of humans. You sold your soul to the devil. No, I've never sold my soul to anyone. Then what changed you? Perhaps you've never known the real me. I don't think so. It was that terrorist attack. I know you lost Sana in that incident. But I also lost... thought we were the same. Turns out we're not. Do you think I blame you? No, and I don't blame anyone. If the Bethlehem Guard Regiment hadn't been disbanded, the terrorist attack might have never happened. The bottom line is, I should never have gone to Bethlehem. As I said, you had never known the real me. Nothing changed me. You went from being a relic agency researcher with a bright future to a secondary school teacher in Besland. Because you're conducting this sort of heinous research? I am an animal, you see that. I don't have the words. They didn't teach me the words. I don't know how to think. The bastards didn't let me learn to think. But if you really are all-powerful, all-knowing, like Laplace's demon, then you figure it out. How ironic. Is this what you learned from Roadside Picnic? I have nothing to say. If everything in life is futile, then what is the point in struggling? From humanity's earliest wars to our last heartbreaking struggles, the only thing left to do is kill ourselves. Happiness. Free for everyone, and let no one be forgotten. Everyone will get their wish granted. Is this the ending? Yes. This is the ending. No matter how many times you lose your memory, no matter how the people around you present themselves, you never change your mind. I expected nothing less from my student. You don't seem to know her well enough. Perhaps, but so-called education doesn't take place in only a limited time. Even seemingly trivial words can cause significant ripples in others' lives. Dear Meitner, I've made new additions to the original Holy Grail. It can certainly run, but it consumes an enormous amount of energy. It has exceeded the lab's capacity, not to mention, even though Sana's data was successfully transferred, the result of the surgical procedure was not ideal. That thing right now is no longer Sana herself. The procedure is ethically questionable to begin with, and despite my best efforts, it ended in failure. My dear Martha, it's time to give up. Humans should not play God. She's dead. I cannot possibly revive the dead by sacrificing the living. This goes against the principle of our collaboration. Blackwell, Berlin, 2051. Farewell, Ramzan. Farewell, Martha. Next up, Griffin. Summon the Swan. Group number 9. Group 9, number 1. Is Griffin's promotional slogan really not a scam? Dear Blackwell, for the sake of the Hippocratic Oath, I'm begging you, please help me. I can't put my feelings into words, but I know what I want to do. Perhaps it is out of guilt towards Sana, perhaps it is out of my desire to take revenge on those bastards at the Relic Agency, or perhaps I'm truly consumed by despair. When all humanity, including our sense of right and wrong, is utterly lost, what is the point in defending our so-called values? Humans have a long-standing tradition of slaughtering each other. It's a cardinal sin coded in our very genes. I think you're the only one in the world who can help me. Leitner, Beslan, 2050. By summer 2061, the war seems to have come to an end, but life has not changed for the better. Hope is like an insect seeking for the light in the dark. They wait silently through the night, but die before daybreak. The fact that people yearn for stability is proof that the time they're living in is anything but stable. Command Center, Griffin Base. The electric door opens and a serious-looking doll enters the command center. Miss Helion, LAMG, reporting for duty. LAMG, I just received a report on your recent training. Yes, ma'am. Your performance has been excellent. You're currently one of the most outstanding dolls at the base. Thank you for your praise. I will keep working hard. Now, I have a rather challenging assignment for you. Helion takes off a monocle and massages the bridge of her nose. This is a human gesture for expressing distress. LAMG makes this silent observation. I'm handing you the profile of and a set of coordinates. Your task is to bring this person back to our base safe and sound. Please leave it to me. I'll do whatever it takes to complete the mission. LMG solemnly accepts the assignment with a fervent desire to help alleviate Miss Helion's troubles. 45 minutes later, LAMG is crouching around the corner in a corridor outside the target's apartment, observing it carefully. Due to the curtains blocking her view from outside, LAMG cannot determine the situation inside. Even though the door is the only thing between her and the target, there's still no way of knowing the target's status. She has tried talking to the nearby residents, but they all ran away in fright once they realized she was asking about the occupant of this particular apartment. Celian, I've reached the designated location. I'm currently outside the door. The situation inside the apartment cannot be determined. Please advise. Do it. Yes, ma'am. But should I opt for gentle measures or should I just... Try to be gentle first. Yes, ma'am. LMG terminates the transmission respectfully and starts imagining how the scenario will play out in her head. Excuse me, is this Miss Anna Viktorovna Tsoy? I am LAMG, an employee of Griffin Kruger PMC. I would like to extend an invitation for you to join as a Griffin commander. I decline. The woman before her seems cold and standoffish. Considering that she is a former officer who got discharged from the military in a recent wave of disarmaments, her bitter reaction is totally understandable. Don't panic, LAMG. Just follow the script given by Miss Kalina. Please hear me out before you finalize your decision. Griffin and Krieger may be a newly established company, but our employees enjoy very competitive wages and generous welfare benefits. Our commanders have flexible work hours and are only required to fulfill a monthly quota. They are free to spend their off-duty time in our facilities. Here are some photos of... LMG noticed the woman widened eyes. Wait, hang on. This is an reaction that expresses surprise and wonder. I'll think about this. Would you like to come to our base for a visit? We provide free transportation. She just has to give her one last gentle push and get her into the vehicle. No, maybe some other day. Please, don't stand on ceremony. If the woman still refuses, then she'll just have to nab on the spot and run for it. Once the doors are locked, the woman won't be able to get out of the vehicle. Then they just have to reach the base and the mission will be accomplished. Having completed the mental rehearsal, LMG tidies her clothing and hair and walks up to the target's, Anna's, door. She rings the doorbell politely. Excuse me, is this Miss Anna Viktorovna Tsoy? I am LMG, an employee of Griffin. Before she can even finish introducing herself, the door comes flying off its hinges. She dodges back and barely avoids getting hit smack in the face. Miss Tsoy, I believe there must be some kind of misunderstanding. Huh? The mission target is standing before her, stepping on the door that she has just demolished with a sneer. LMG can smell the pungent scent of alcohol coming from the woman, probably vodka. I mean you no harm. I'm simply on behalf of Griffin and Kruger PMC to extend an invitation. And it closes in on LMG at alarming speed and delivers 2 successive straight punches to her abdomen. LMG's vision goes dark for a moment, but her legs wobble. I've heard enough of your fucking PMCs. You come and harass me every single day like flies buzzing around my head. LMG gets knocked off her feet. She uses the momentum and rolls away, putting some distance between Anna and herself. Ha, you've got some skills, I'll give you that. You can still get up after taking my punches. Mr. Soy, please cease your aggressive behavior. I really mean you no harm. LMG's pleas are utterly ignored. In fact, Anna's punches are thrown with even more speed and ferocity. LMG can only keep dodging in the cramped corridor while trying to proceed with her plan. Griffin and Krieger may be a newly established company, but our employees enjoy very competitive wages and generous welfare benefits. Our commanders have flexible working hours and are only required to fulfill a monthly quota. Anna suddenly stops attacking. Why don't you fight back? I am a tactical doll, LAMG of Griffin and Krieger PMC. I cannot attack humans without authorization. Huh, a doll. Anna peers at her opponent with narrowed eyes into the faint light of the corridor. Where's your commander? Miss Helion, Miss Soy would like to speak to you. LMG turns on the projection on a communicator. Hello, Miss Soy. You're the doll's commander? Then order your doll to fight me. If that is what you want, I'll oblige. Authorization granted. Confirmed. Target restriction disabled. After a moment of hesitation, LMG decides to put down a gun and draws a combat knife instead. When she looks up again, she notices the gleeful gleam in her target's eyes. It's been too long. I don't even remember when was the last time I got to fight without holding back. Command Center, Griffin Base. The door opens and Helion turns around. Miss Helion, I've brought Miss Soy to the base. You got her. Well done. Which VIP room have you put her in? The infirmary. Probably. She's in... yeah, the infirmary. The infirmary? Didn't I tell you to bring her safe and sound? You also told her to fight. I'm sorry, Miss Helion. But it was an accident. She had me completely pinned down with a rear neck choke. I couldn't see where I was going and ended up falling out of the window with her. When I came to my senses, I realized I used her to cushion my fall. I ran a scan on her. There aren't any broken bones or injuries onto her organs. She's currently being given specialized care in the infirmary. Helion takes a closer look at LMG and finally sees that she is covered in injuries. She has also lost the use of one of her arms. So yeah, you had to go through that at LMG. Now go and get yourself patched up. Yes, ma'am. Infirmary, Griffin Base. In the unfamiliar room, the air is warm and filled with the smell of disinfectant. Are you awake, Miss Soy? Are you feeling well? Anna tries to focus on the woman's face, but the air is still a bit woozy. Something also feels a bit weird about her body. She lowers her head and sniffs herself. The odor of alcohol has been replaced by the smell of a brand new uniform. Hello, Anna. I'm Krieger, PIC of the... What does PIC mean? Probably president in charge or something? Oh, I don't know. Person in charge? Maybe? Of Griffin and Krieger PMC. We've met once before, though you probably don't remember. My friend here heard that the base was short on excellent commanders and recommended you. And so you sent someone to abduct me. Anna flashes the IC handcuffs around her wrists. We brought you here out of concern for your well-being. You do remember that my subordinate knocked you out? I just didn't see that dirty move coming. Don't rub my failure on my face. Get Anna something to eat. Yes, sir. Helion nods and leaves the room. The stalls may not be very strong right now, but with your leadership and more technical improvements, they may be able to change the world someday. I never said I'm taking the job. We're not discussing the job. Tell me, Anna. What are your thoughts on dolls? Krieger holds up his tactical tablet in front of Anna. The profile of the doll that Anna had thought is being displayed on the screen. Bunch of ungainly tin cans. I can see that she's been trained somewhat, but she's pretty dim and strategizes poorly. She's been undergoing regular training every day, but the results still leaves much to be desired. What they lack isn't training, but practical combat experience and strategic thinking. If it were up to you, how would you train them? Huh. That's not a very subtle way of getting me to talk. Just having a casual chat. There's no need to be so on edge. Why don't you tell me what you think, Mr. Krieger? I've seen my share of PMCs, but you're the first to employ mostly dolls. What do you see in these metal slags that makes you think they're worth such a large investment? That's an interesting question. Anna, from your experience, how long does it take to train a human soldier with no prior military experience to kill an enemy using an AK-12? Depends on how talented the soldier is. It usually takes 3 to 6 months. Do you know how long it takes to train doll to do the same? I don't know much about doll technology. Oh. They can do it from the moment they are created. This is the reason that I don't know how to say that word. I can't speak French, even for just a word. They're created for the express purpose of killing, but I believe they can do so much more. Those tin cans? This is just the beginning. They are the first generation dolls. Very soon they'll be second gen, third gen dolls. The potential of doll evolution is infinite. You're banking on the assumption that dolls have a bright future. What if their development is impeded? Theoretically speaking, dolls are immortal. Even if their development is impeded, they will not disappoint me. Immortal. Please come in. Hello, Mr. Kruger. Hello, Miss Toy. I've brought you your lunch. You're the one who... How may I help you, Miss Toy? No, nothing. The smiling doll leaves the room after putting down the food and cutleries. Healing comes in afterwards. She isn't the doll who fell out the building with you, just another unit of the same model. In case you're wondering, that doll is undergoing repairs and maintenance at the repair bay. She'll be fine in no time. Dolls don't currently have the ability to pass on memories, so losing any of them in battle is still a big problem for us. But there soon will be technological breakthroughs in regard to doll memories. Anna says nothing. She gazes thoughtfully at the doorway through which the doll just left. Won't that doll begrudge me for how I treated her? No. Why? It's how they're designed. Huh? Don't tell me dolls are designed to be benevolent and forgiving of all evil. Unlike humans, dolls are created with a fundamental command that compels them to be loyal to the commander. The command is absolute. You'll never have to worry about being betrayed by a doll on the battlefield, Miss Soy. You've looked me up pretty thoroughly. He didn't place an employment contract on the table. You may find the work underwhelming, but at least the pay is decent, and the hours are flexible. I know you have your own problems, and I do not intend to pry into them. Griffin is not a rigid workplace. All I care about is if you can do your job well. What you go after work is your business. Helium pushes the contract towards Anna. I hope we have communicated our sincerity sufficiently. Anna turns her eyes away from the doorway and looks down at the contract. She chuckles quietly and finally nods. Alright then. Since her arm is injured, she has to remove the cap of the earthen pen with her teeth. She is just about to sign her name on the line when... One moment. You're not gonna add more terms now, are you? No, but for the sake of security, I recommend that you take on a new name. Just think of it as your ally as a griffin. Alias a griffin. Anna tilts her head and peers at her own reflection in the glass. She looks gaunt and haggard with her sunken cheeks, but there is a menacing gleam in her eyes. Just like the legendary... Abaddon. Commander Abaddon, how's that? Oh my god. Why are you so edgy, woman? This name does not suit you. You promised you wouldn't meddle in my personal life, but here you are, meddling. Anna snickers at her own diabolical reflection. Then call me Angelia. The machine operates steadily. A woman is standing next to the slumbering test subjects, a dark hood helping her blend in with the stillness in the room. Her withered fingers leaf through the pages of the test subject's file carefully until a girl dressed in white hurries over. The data from the subject scan have been compiled. Please take a look. Right. She flips through the several pages offhandedly before shoving the file back in the girl's arms. Is that fucking woman still alive? Got it. Keep monitoring the test subject for any changes. I think I can just barely make out some black hair behind that hood. I wonder if, Miss Meitner might have survived getting shot in the head. Or wherever she got shot. Notify the others to prepare to rouse the subject. Yes, ma'am. The girl in white lowers her head and takes a few steps backward, but she stops when she reaches the door. If you have any questions, spit them out. Apologies. Back when I was working as a teacher, I had a student who was curious about everything. She would bombard me with questions whenever she had the chance. Now that I finally have some peace and quiet, I kinda miss it. The girl in white looks up at the test subject. I would like to know, what exactly is it that determines a human's identity? Is it something in the biological makeup, such as genetics or their physical appearance? Or is it something more internal, like their experience or beliefs? The real question is whether the test subject is still the same human she was before she died, I gather. Yes, I'm just a little curious. I'm no philosopher, but from a biological perspective, the individual lying here is indeed the same human. Understand? The girl in white bows her head again and makes to leave the lab. However, the elements that make up a human identity are not so easily summed up. She pulls up the test subject's mechanical arm and pinches her chin. Our flesh, our thoughts, our memories. Oh, please tell me that Angie isn't fucking dead. A mechanical arm? I don't believe any of these matter. A human's existence is objective and subjective. What do you mean? Humans are social animals. Anyone who's existed is bound to leave behind some sort of emotional impression in someone else's heart. When the deceased returns, even if the body is so damaged they are barely recognizable, they will be embraced tenderly by the living. The appearance doesn't even need to be identical. The test subject here would suffice. But it's not time yet. It's not time yet. The woman pulls over a chair and sits down by the test subject. She gazes intently at the subject's eyelashes, which quiver in time with her breathing. Now wake up and return from Abaddon. I don't know, man. I really don't want Angie to die, because she's genuinely the most interesting character of the entire story. And that's not to say that there are no interesting characters, it's just that... yeah, she goes beyond that. How long has it been since he was awakened? He does not know. Perhaps it does not matter. He now has a reason to keep on living, all for the sake of... all test subjects have departed as per your order. Hold on a minute! I know that face. The screens are showing live feeds from the POV of the test subjects carrying out the infiltration. Crack. Even the sound of them stamping on twigs can be heard clearly in this room. Then I shall take my leave. That's Ramzan, isn't it? The girl in white is the newest model at the base, but she never dares to look him in the eye, not even once. Why? Is he really so terrifying? He wants to look into a mirror, but then he remembers too late that he has smashed everything with a reflective surface. There's nothing he can do. He feels the scar on his face with his cold fingers, then traces of the crisscrossing soon seams up his neck and collarbones. Oh. Captain Galati, we have reached the coordinates. Proceed with the infiltration and gather intelligence on the target. It might not be Ramzan, but Armin? But still? Roger. He swivels a chair to the right, revealing the patchwork corpse slumped on it with a plush toy in its arms. Just you watch, brother. This fantastic show is about to begin. The test subject has successfully bugged the facility. Commander Novikov, your supplies have all been dropped off on rack B-1719. Please look through them and confirm that everything is in order. Yes, I see them. By the way, has Commander Gilead received the supplies for the month? The man is casually straightened. The man who is casually straightening in the corpse's shirt collar suddenly turns his head and stares sharply at the screen. Sorry, but I cannot divulge any information regarding another commander's personal matters. What a knucklehead. Then I'll just have to ask Commander Angelia myself. Angelia? The man grins. His flat laughter echoes through the spacious room. Found you. The sound of intense gunfire is pervasive even in the dense forest in midsummer, resounding through the thick foliage. Lying in the grass on her stomach, LAMG turns uneasily to look at her laid-back commander. She's currently lying on a hammock, dozing off peacefully. Why aren't we attacking? If we wait any longer, there won't be anything left to do other than cleaning up the corpses on the battlefields. What are you grumbling about, LAMG? Nothing? LAMG has been serving under Commander Angelia for several years, but she still can't make sense of her. Like right now, LAMG is so anxious she is fighting the urge to pace back and forth, but Angelia just turns on her hammock and dozes off again. After much hemming and sawing, LAMG finally decides to say something. Commander? Isn't it time we moved? The other teams have already engaged the target. Give it a little longer. Yes, ma'am. LAMG can only swallow her gripes and instructs her other teammates to keep waiting. Say, have you completed the memory integration? What, you mean organizing the neural data across the units of the same model? All neural data have been integrated, and some duplicate and redundant data have been deleted. Then you should remember the first time we met. You mean that time when I jumped out the window and crushed you underneath me? You mean that time when I cornered you and you made you so desperate that your only option was to jump out of the window and drag me along with you? Oh, falling from that height was no problem for a doll. I was rather surprised that you came out of that alive. You sound almost smug. Well, you're a legend at the base, even though you don't seem to take anything seriously and rely on nothing but your sheer dumb luck. No one can deny that you're currently the most outstanding commander at Griffin. So you're the one who spread all the rumors? And she puts one arm under her head and opens her sleepy eyes. Seeing that the commander seems to be feeling more awake, LAMG presses her head. So, why are we still not attacking, Commander? I'm not equipped with an advanced command module, but based on what you've taught me, if our team had stormed the target's right flank 50 minutes ago, the mission could have been completed by now. LMG, what is the purpose of dolls? Angie changes the subject abruptly, leaving LAMG's question unanswered. Her eyelids droop again. To complete missions. That's right. But there's no end to missions. Angie finally sits up in her hammock. She props herself up on one arm and yawns lazily. The more challenging training exercises you complete, the more you improve in your skills. But it doesn't work like that with missions. Completing challenging missions will only get you more challenging missions and in greater quantities. That makes no sense. Don't we get bigger rewards for completing more challenging missions? Promotions and pay rises? I don't care about such things. Then what is it that you want? The truth. The truth? What kind of... LMG is keenly aware that this is a subject that Angie has never taken the initiative to bring up, and this may be an important opportunity to understand her better. She wants to ask more questions, but Angie interrupts her by raising her hands. She looks into the distance and slowly rising smoke and finally gives the order to attack. Okay. Send them out. Coordinate with the teams fighting on the flanks and attack the target from behind. Yes, Commander. LMG jumps out of the bush with excitement, and then she stops abruptly. What's the problem? Commander, can you continue the conversation when I come back? Get the hell out of my sight! Yes, ma'am. LMG and her teammates disappear in the dense woods and join the cacophony of gunfire in the distance. Angel rolls out of a hammock and steps onto the soft soil, covered in a thick layer of fallen leaves with bare feet. After having a good stretch, she finally accepts the comms request that's been pending for a while. Report. Commander, as per your request, we have secured the confidential file before all Griffin squads. Good. Are you still under the radar? I believe so. What with the hesitation? One of our escape routes is occupied by a Griffin squad. There are 5 of them, led by LAMG. You have intel on them, so what are you afraid of? Go ahead and make your move before they spot you. But... We're from the same base. How could we attack our allies? Huh, you never met? They're completely unaware of the AR team's existence. This doesn't sit right with me. We should be protecting our allies. Even if doing so would botch the mission. Angie lets out a sigh. She can already hear the approaching footsteps and gunshots on Paul's end. Fine. Stand by in position. Roger. Angie hangs up and issues an LAMG and new commands. Abort the attack and retreat immediately. After that, she opens the training plan designed for the AR team. They are absolutely brilliant in the training simulations, but the performance in actual combat can only be described as pathetic. Have you received the combat logs? Yep, I've gone through all of them. I have a question. Do you not know how to command the AR team? Are you questioning my ability as a commander? No, not at all. The AR team is special. What works on other adults may not work on them. I only have one way of commanding adults. They do as I say. I know, but out of all the adults in the AR team, M4 is especially different. That child is very much like a human. This means that she can make very human mistakes, such as letting emotions getting the better of her. I don't know much about doll tech. All I care is about if she can complete her missions. Judging by her current stats, I think it's better if she stays in your lab and off the battlefield. Don't be so quick to judge, Commander. Commander Julia. This is only the beginning. Suit yourself. As long as the deal still stands. But of course, that has been the agreement since day one. You take charge of the AR team, and I'll get you your monthly outings. Which reminds me, it's almost time for my outing this month. How's the paperwork coming along? I'm on it. Gotta go now. Alright. Buzz against the call, but MG is in no hurry to leave the comms channel. She strokes her chin and taps the communicator with her fingers leisurely. Why, hello. How does it feel eavesdropping on your competitor? So that's what she offered you. No wonder you abandoned the Wolfpack and took on the AR team. I told you, I don't care what team I command as long as they can get the job done. From what I heard, the AR team isn't up to your standards. Even dolls have room to grow. Plastic's offer must be very tempting. What exactly do you plan on doing away from Griffin? This has nothing to do with our deal. Fine. As long as you're sure it won't affect anything else. I've sent you your new assignments, you know the drill. No problem. Parking lot, Griffin Base. The dusty off-road vehicle speeds over and comes to an abrupt halt in a parking space after drifting wildly. Say, Commander, can we get a more challenging mission next time? We've been loafing on the job the entire time. There's nothing to brag about to all our colleagues. Angie opens the door expressionlessly and takes a deep breath of fresh air. I have a challenging mission for you, alright? Please go ahead. I promise I'll complete it. Retake your driving test. Huh? Angie gets out of the vehicle. A hand grabs her by the shoulder before she can even find her footing. Come on, Agilia. Please come with us. We're detaining you on suspicion of murdering Commander Novikov. Novikov is dead? Yes, the details will be explained during the interrogation. This way, please. Let go of the Commander. LMG exits the vehicle and throws herself in front of Angie. LMG, return to your dorm and stand by. But I'll buy you the drink I owe you some other day. Yes, ma'am. LMG moves out of the way reluctantly and watches as Angie gets taken away. Okay. Angie moves further and further away until her figure shrinks into a small, unrecognizable black pixel in LAMG's eyes. But she keeps on looking, as if praying for a miracle that will not happen. Okay. Sunny Angelus. Captain Ganglati, his vital signs are gone. And he still gave nothing away. We interrogated him as per your order, but we could not obtain any information from him that we did not already possess. In the live feed on the screen, a test subject stands up next to Novikov's corpse. Novikov is sprawled on the floor of the warehouse. His face is bruised and swollen, and his blood is spurting out from the dagger, still lodged in the main artery in his neck. I just wanted to scare him into talking, but he was so terrified he stumbled into the dagger himself. Doesn't matter. Since he said already, make the most out of the body. What do you mean? Clean it up and turn it into the scene of a crime of passion. Fabricate a murder scene to incriminate Commander Angelia? Understood. The man smiles for the first time in a while. Standing in front of the screen, he watches the live feed from inside the interrogation room at the Griffin base. Since access to the surveillance system is gained via hacking, the picture is a little blurry and flickery, but he can still make out Commander Angelia and the anger on her face. Just stay there like a good girl. I'm coming for you, Angelia. He caresses the blurry face on the screen with his fingertips. A sharp and abrupt pain flashes from his right temple to his brain. He presses his buzzing head against his hand. The newer stabilizer on his right temple, which is covered by his hair, has come loose again. Not again. Teacher, I require treatment. He makes a call on his communicator as he hyperventilates. Teacher. Sister Sana is currently undergoing reconfiguration. If you have anything urgent to report, I will relay it once this procedure is completed. Sana. My neurostabilizer is malfunctioning again. I need the teacher. I will notify as soon as the experiment is over. Right. Is there anything else I could do? I could help you with? How's Sana doing? My condition is stable. Teacher said to reassure you if you inquire about this. Focus on completing your mission. Do not forget what you have been through. Understood. He puts down the communicator and slowly sits down on the metal chair. He no longer sees the interrogation room at Griffin Base, and he is no longer in a heavily contaminated wasteland. He has returned to the birch woodland back home, and Sana is waiting for him under a tree. They agreed to go looking for birds in the woods today. Let's go, Sana. Okay. He smacks his own red and freezing cheeks, and then takes her hand, which is wrapped in a thick mitten. Together they wade through the knee-deep snow into the distance. Sana, I will avenge you and my brother. The murderer who shot you in Beslan will be cut to pieces. You hear that, Commander Angelia? Enduring the pain that is shooting through his head like an electric current, he glares vehemently at the indifferent Angelia on the screen. Late at night, in the interrogation room at Griffin Base. Sitting across the interrogator, who sits at attention on the other side of the table, Angie yawns unabashedly. Commander Angelia, please be cooperative. I told you, I wasn't even at the base yesterday. Alibis need to be verified for them to be considered. Please start from the very beginning and explain your itinerary yesterday. I left the base at 7 in the morning, and as per my arrangement with IRP, I went to the lab over there to help test adults. I cannot reveal anything specific about my work due to a confidentiality agreement. This has been verified. Your statement matches the surveillance records on the Griffin base and IRP's building. Once I was done with my work, I went back to the Griffin base. That was about 10 in the evening. Let me go over this again. You left the Griffin base at 7 AM yesterday to run tests for IRP. Then you returned to Griffin base around 10 PM after completing work. Is that correct? Yes. Presumably, you already know the time of the crime. I heard the body was found around 4 PM. At 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, a Tito in the employment of Griffin and Kruger PMC discovered the deceased Commander Novikov in the logistics warehouse. That proves that I didn't have time to commit the crime, no? Actually, I have a few questions regarding your alibi. The interrogator turns his tablet around and shows it to Angie. It is the CCTV footage. Commander Angelia, according to your statement, from 7 AM to 10 PM yesterday, you were either commuting to and from the IOP lab or working in the lab. Then how do you explain the CCTV footage recorded at 2 PM yesterday? The interrogator presses the play button. In the surveillance footage, Angel leaves the IOP building through the black door and drives off in a motorcycle with no license plate. I had to attend some personal matter. Surveillance coverage was small and sparse in the area you traveled to, so we could only find the intermittent footage of you. But one thing is certain. The interrogator plays the next surveillance clip. You only returned to IP at 4:30 PM. Then you left at 9 PM. This means that, contrary to what you said earlier, you were not working at IP from 2 to 4:30 PM. As I said, that's my own personal matter. I have the right to protect my own privacy. According to the statements given by other commanders, you had multiple heated arguments with Commander Novikov. Testimony shows that you have threatened to kill him before. He had bugged and spied on me repeatedly in the past and shamelessly feigned innocence when I found out. I have found listening devices installed around me on at least 5 occasions. But you didn't have proof that he was the one behind the bugs, so Griffin decided not to pass judgment on him. He always did a clean job. He was no amateur. It would seem that Commander Novikov had knowledge that could cost him his life. Does it have anything to do with your personal matter? You already considered me the culprit, so you're trying to trick me into letting something slip. Don't be testy, Commander Angelia. I'm just making reasonable assumptions and routine inquiries. Novikov's death has nothing to do with me. He was no more than an irritating fly to me. I have more important things to worry about than being harassed by a fly. Your personal matter seems to be quite a priority for you. Let me say this again. Angie's patience has reached its limit. My personal matter is completely irrelevant to this case. Besides, I have an alibi. The alibi cannot be entirely verified unless you are willing to explain the missing link. Angie clenches her fist and fights the urge to punch this man's aggravating face. Taking in Angie's silence, the interrogator turns to the desk lamp and shines it directly into Angie's face. The piercing light makes her narrow her eyes. I see that you're determined to make this difficult. Perhaps you have your own reasons that you cannot speak of, or perhaps you're just putting up some last-ditch resistance. But whichever is the case, I'm sorry to inform you that until your innocence can be proven, you will be stripped of your duties and confined to Griffin Base. Any attempt to leave the base will be considered abscondment? I don't know how you say that word. I've never seen it before. Interesting. Alright then. If you have no further questions, that is all for the interrogation today. LMG paces uneasily along the quiet corridor. A piercing white light is shining through the window on the door of the interrogation room at the end. It has been 8 hours since Angie went inside, and it does not look like she's coming out anytime soon. The commanders only had to go through some perfunctory questioning. Why are they turning up the heat on Commander Angelia? The interrogation room door opens. Commander! LMG? Didn't I tell you to stand by? I was worried about you. I'm fine. Angie appears nonchalant, but AMG notices her tightly clenched fists, which gives away a suppressed rage. Were they hard on you? No. Don't worry about it. Let's go. Miss Healing came by earlier and told me to let you know that the brass is taking the murder of this commander very seriously and has dispatched an investigation team from the capital. All suspected commanders have to be suspended from duty and undergo investigation. They're probably worried that this may be related to a serial murder of Griffin employees that happened a year ago. She's telling me to bear with it. Yeah, I believe that's what she's getting at. Huh. Can you run an errand for me, LAMG? I'll do whatever I can. Take this to 16 lab for me and hand it to Professor Persica. Commander? LAMG sounds utterly defeated. I was banned from leaving Griffin Base not long after you entered the interrogation room. Even my comms permissions are restricted to only internal calls within Griffin. Even you. Let's see. Then go get some rest for now. Commander... What is it? If you just sit tight and kill some time at Griffin Base, things will just blow over. Would you consider doing that? We'll see. Angie waves at LMG as usual and walks off. LMG is left standing outside the door. She checks and double-checks the surroundings and only leaves after making absolutely sure that nothing is amiss. This is the first time she's seen Angie looking so grim. On the other side of the door... Leaning against the door, Angie looks outside the window at the quiet summer night. She can only hear the continuous chirps of insects, rising and falling like the breath of the night. I'm so close. Angie slumps on the floor weakly. The cries of those cicadas sound especially loud in the silent room. Angie listens to it while lying on the floor, but she suddenly realizes that the noise isn't made by cicadas, but some sort of vibration. What's this? She gets up from the floor irritably, steps over to the stains left by a cold sweat, and looks for the source of the vibration. Soon, the statue of wolves by the door catches her attention. The statue was a gift from Shaw. She spots the strange glint in the eyes of the wolves, so she reaches out a hand. Angie, we meet again. When did this... Actually, it's 12's idea. Hi, Commander Julia. Long time no see. Surprised? Always keep an eye on even one's closest ally. You taught me that. I didn't tell you to... Never mind. Thanks to you, I can still communicate with the outside world. I heard you're in big trouble. Not really, but the timing is truly terrible. By the by, my offer still stands. You desperately need to get out of your current predicament and continue your quest, don't you? I'm just struck by Killa's heel. Veins appear on her forehead as she suppresses her anger. I'll consider it. How unfortunate. Then I suppose this is the end of a little arrangement. Do you have to come to West with me when my temper is at its worst? Then start hurling abuse like you usually do. Heh, can't even do that because you need to get me... to get you out of this mess. How very like you. Such a unique way of begging for a favor. And she rubs her throbbing temples. Holding back the urge to annihilate the world, she looks at the hateful face in the communicator. Fine, I accept your offer. The next morning. The forceful rap on the door wakes Angie, who feels like she had only just fallen asleep. Sorry to disturb you, Commander Julia. Please come with us for further questioning. Alright, I'll be out in a minute. Angie contains her anger and cleans herself up promptly. You slept for 3 hours and 12 minutes and had only 15 minutes of REM sleep. You're suffering from severe sleep deprivation, Commander Julia. Don't need you to tell me that. Commander, we have reached the target location. Please provide further directives. That is the weak point in the security of the Griffin base. The CCTV here broke down a few days before the incident. I suspect the murder entered the base from there. It does look pretty close to where Commander Novikov was found dead on this map. See if you can find any traces left behind by the culprit. Yes, ma'am. Commander Julia, why didn't you bring this to the investigation team's attention? Wouldn't this clear you of any suspicion? I don't trust them. Besides, the state Novikov's body was in is a little... The knocking grows even more forceful. Commander Julia, you are currently on suspension. Please cease everything you're doing and cooperate with the investigation. I'm coming. The shouting from outside the door continues to grate on Angie's ears. She's just about to put away the micro-communicator when A94 pipes up a bit anxiously. Oh. Commander, we just discovered new traces of another break-in. They seem to be older than the other traces, but definitely left by the same people. Good, keep looking. 94, cover me. They're right. Angie does a double take at the sudden loud noise. 12, 94. There's nothing but a static coming from the communicator. No response from the wolf pack. Just then... Hey, don't try anything funny. You're a major suspect, so don't make any trouble and do as you're told. Angie stares at the microcommunicator in her hands. The furious knocking at the door transports her back to the summer day from several years ago. I knew this day would come. Let me just drink something. Ahem. Captain Ganglotti, the target has not appeared at the predicted coordinates. Our units lying in ambush wish to know how to proceed. Where'd she go? Unclear. She should have returned to the interrogation room by now, but from the CCTV live footage, neither she nor the interrogator are currently in the interrogation room. Have they postponed the interrogation today? Is she still waiting at the dawn? She's never been one to give up so easily. There's nothing she hates more than being put on the back foot, so she will certainly do whatever she can to regain her initiative. Then what should we do? My guess is that she overpowered the guard who was supposed to escort her, and she's now trying to break out of the Griffin base. Tell the ambush team to search for any signs of breakout from around Commander Julia's dormitory. Yes, sir. Good thing you are familiar with the target, Captain Ganglati, or we would be utterly lost. The test subject exited the room, leaving him alone with his thoughts. Familiar? Why? In the deserted corridor at the Griffin base, LMG hurries toward Angie's dormitory with a cup of coffee in her hands. Having my movement restricted is such a pain. I can't even go to the grocery store for some vodka. Good thing I managed to sort something out of a cafe here. LMG looks down at the coffee she is holding. A whiff of vodka can be detected amidst the rich aroma of the coffee. Ah. I hope this will make Commander feel better. Anxiety drives LMG to quicken her pace. She can almost picture Angie right now. The once high and mighty ace Griffin commander has her rights taken away because of some strange, unfounded accusation and is now confined in a small apartment. LMG can only lament her superior's misfortune. And you saw Miss just around the corner. LMG lengthens her stride and marches toward the familiar apartment. As she gets closer, she soon realizes that the door to Angie's dorm is not shut tight, and is completely dark inside. Commander? The instincts compel her to load her weapon, but she then remembers she is no longer authorized to carry ammunition. She has no choice but to hold onto the coffee with one hand and her combat knife with the other as she carefully pushes the door open and enters the room. A handful of the guards she saw yesterday are sprawled around the doorway, unconscious for the time being. LMG looks around the apartment in shock and finds Angie in the living room, pinning one of the guards to the floor with a knee and searching him. LMG, you came. Commander, what happened here? Isn't it obvious? I knocked them all out and now I'm picking up some decent weapons to stage a prison break. Come here, your turn. Angie throws away the pistol and stunned batons she finds on the guards and gazes at LMG, who's still standing at the door, still dumbfounded. What do you mean it's my turn? Don't be scared, it's just for show. Otherwise I'd think you helped me escape and make things really difficult for you. Hold on. What? What am I supposed to do once you're gone? A new commander will come along? No, I'm staying with you. Angie walks up to LMG and glares at her balefully, but LMG refuses to back down. Do you know what will happen to you if you leave the Griffin base with me? Become an outlaw who's constantly wanted in pursuits? I don't care. LMG observes Angie's every move carefully, ready to counter any attack Angie initiates. She's already resolved to go with Angie, even if she has to beg shamelessly. Alright then. You can come with me, but you must first disable your Griffin doll identification signal, or we'll be spotted a mile away. You actually agreed. Sure, no problem. How do I do that? Enter level 2. Hurry. Okay. She's just gonna trick her. She's gonna enter level 2. And that's gonna be when Angie disappears. LMG immediately dives into her subconscious and enters level 2. Then what? Access your neurocloud and turn over all authorizations to me. She's just gonna turn off. Done, but I'm not seeing anything about the signal. Beep. Before LMG can finish her sentence, her neural space starts flashing a red alert. Activate advanced search engine and find all data related to Commander Angelia. Wait, aren't we supposed to be turning off the identification signal? Why? LMG desperately tries to terminate the operation, but Angie has already taken control of her neural clouds. She can only watch helplessly as Angie digs up all the irrelevant memories. Select all, delete. No! LMG lets out a piteous scream as the memories of the past disappear rapidly, one after the other. Why, Angie? You are an exceptional and righteous T-Doll who deserves a bright future. You should not go down this dark path with me. Cancel the wipe. Stop it! If you would just sit tight and kill some time at the base, this would blow over sooner or later. Why wouldn't you just do that? If everything in life is futile, then what is the point in struggling? What? LMG, I'll buy you the drink out of you in my next life. The final memory fragments are shattered, and LMG's neurocloud initiates a reboot. Consciousness slowly slips away into the darkness. On the training ground near the Griffin base. Angie takes off a commander's uniform and vaults over the window. Vaults out of the window of the dormitory building. She avoids the surveillance cameras and slips into the woods. If all goes according to plan, she will circle around the forest at the training ground and eventually make it out of the base. 12th, I get off combat. They had absolutely no desire to fight us. They left something behind and left in a hurry. Give me the coordinates and wait for me. Yes, Mom. And you can feel the blood pumping through her veins. She breathes deeply to keep herself from hyperventilating. She has to be waiting for this far too long. The ghost ship that has been chasing... There. The ghost ship that she has been chasing after all these years has finally appeared before her, and she can finally row with its rusted oars. Commander? Wow, it really is the Commander. I thought I wouldn't get to see you in a while. Unexpected obstacles have appeared in a way. What are you doing here? We are recreating the mission from the other day. And Paul's been really down since we messed up the mission, so we decided to recreate the scenario and see if we can find any other solution. Yes, I'm trying to figure out how we could have completed the mission without sacrificing any Griffin dolls. And in case you're wondering, this is simulation number 5. I shredded the dummy stand, the dummy stand in every single time. That's not good. You're not supposed to do that. Alright, so I get it. Terminate the simulation and return to the base at once. Roger, where are you going, Commander? That's none of your business. Commander, where's your uniform? And your doll adjutant? Inform wants to borrow squad's combat log from the mission. Go find her yourselves. And she marches off after answering the questions gruffly. M16 frowns and sent the message to LAMG. Yeah, but LAMG doesn't remember. The notification sound of a new message. LMG sits up on the marble floor, a little disoriented. Did she just disconnect? Did she run out of battery? Alright, she just received a new message. From an anonymous sender. Do you know where the Commander Angelia has gone? Commander Angelia? Who's that? Confused, LMG replies to the message, but accidentally knocks over the cup of coffee next to her hand. Oh no! The coffee has gone cold. Its bitter smell, laced with a pungent stench of alcohol, soaks LAMG's clothes. What's this? Why does this coffee smell vaguely of alcohol? LAMG takes a sip out of curiosity and bemusement. Tastes really weird, but nostalgic somehow. M16 puts away a communicator and whispers to M4. M4, something's up with the Commander. She's probably forcing her way out of the base. What? Then what should we do? We must intercept her. The consequences would be unthinkable if we let her leave. Okay. Stop 2. Intercept the Commander. 15 and I will try to slow her down, and I'll leave it to you to seal her escape route. 16. No problem. Sop sprints away through the woods and soon catches up with Angie. She throws herself at Angie and wraps her in an enthusiastic embrace. Commander, where are you going? Take me with you. It's a personal matter and none of your business. Get back to the base. Oh, ooh, if you're so cranky. Commander, I believe we are all confined to the base. M4 plants herself in front of Angie, concern written all over her face. You will be punished if you leave now. Angie gazes fiercely at M4 and STR-15, who are blocking your path. Then make a choice. What choice? Activate your signal sensor and tell me what you see. There are a lot of active signals all over the base. Several squads have mobilized and seem to be moving in different directions around the base. How many dots are there on the closest squad? A 5-dot squad will reach us in 5 minutes. Very well. Target them and eliminate them on the spot. Huh? But they just... Make your choice, M4. Follow me? Or defy me? Why? I don't understand. Just make your choice. Hey, M4, they're getting close. They can already hear the leaves rustling in the wood at the foot of the hill. M4. Sorry, Commander. I can't do it. And you smiled in relief at M4's clear rejection. Well done. You stood by your choice. Commander? You don't have to call me Commander anymore. From this moment, I'm no longer the commander of the AR team. Someday, a more suitable commander will lead you into a bright future. As for me, I have my own path to tread. What do you mean? I don't want you to go. Commander? I still don't understand. Why? The abrupt gunshots ring out. The Griffin signals are gone. Time's up. Execute mandatory commands. Huh? All members, enter sleep mode. Captain Ganglotti, we have located the Commander and Julia by following our tracks. We are currently in pursuit. Right, how many dogs does she have with her? It's unclear, but the Griffin squad was ambushed just now. They were limited to just a few seconds and didn't even have the time to chance to put up a fight. Looks like she's brought along an elite squad. How should we proceed? Keep your distance, but stay with her and await my orders. Yes, Captain. Following her commands, everyone on the AR team entered sleep mode on the spot, except M16. She's still standing before her, gazing at her with piercing eyes. So you're the last ace up the sleeve. Sorry, Commander. Please come with me back to the base. M16 turns off the safety on a weapon and aims at NG. But then, a spray of bullets interrupts her, forcing her to take cover behind a tree. Such rapid and dramatic changes on the battlefield. 1 second, we were beating up Gryffindors, then we're rescuing the Commander the next. Cut the crap. Commander, this way, I'll cover you. Seizing an opportune opening during the crossfire, NG links up with the wolf pack and retreats toward the edge of the woods. Capture the Commander. Try not to harm her. Understood. As Griffin reinforcements enter the fray, the firepower increases in strength. Under M16's leadership, the dolls start breaking through the wolf pack's defenses and closing on Angie. Can't widen the distance between us and the Griffin squad. Should we take a shortcut and try to shake them off, or... You two split up, use me as bait and take them out one by one. Roger. So heartless to your former subordinates. A guitar's flippant voice fades into the distance, and you can hear the Griffin doll screams as she runs away. But not once does she look back. She just keeps running, on and on, down the seemingly endless path. Well... MG stopped wasting vodka. Still very interested in all of this. Like... It's all a bit odd. This is very odd, in fact. Okay. Yep. The hardware mechanics are shown at the image. Click on the... Yeah, okay. So we want to keep it's an elevated? But that is fine, because we're currently in 120, which should be... before elevated, actually. Stopping here would actually give me more movement points. So before we fight M16, we absolutely have to get into elevated territory. Which shouldn't be too difficult. It's just 2 times fighting, right? Lots of helipods captured. So we're now at 100 BPM. So we want to beat them 4. Which should be too bad. Honestly, it's probably just a map where I could just break straight through the front lines, but, might as well beat them all, right? But turns out AK-12 and A-94 are pretty damn strong. And they actually are. That is accurate. Realizing that splitting up will not stop Angelia's breakthrough, the AR team regroup near the exit. Ah, okay. Okay then. That's what we need the elevated strength for. Now, currently we are not at elevated. But we will be again in a moment. Breakthrough sub 2. And then through M16. Now the next bit of combat might have been completely avoidable. I don't know. Let's attempt it though. I have no idea what exactly happens here. Apparently we just murder them. Yep, that was very one-sided. I'm out of movement points. Whoopsie. That will capture the command post though, or rather the radar, and that should end the mission. Yes, there we go. Very good. Very good. Very good, very good. Summon the goldfinch. Okay. M16 lets out a harsh chuckle. Then she slowly lowers her weapon. I surrender. Clatter. My guns fall onto the ground, and she raises her arms in resignation. The Griffin squad has been wiped out, leaving M16 all alone and out of ammo. Angie, all threats are eradicated. What should we do with this one? Any thoughts? I think we should disassemble and get the parts far away just to be safe. She's part of the AR team. She may not survive being taken apart so savagely. Just immobilize and disable her comms module. Roger. Nah, no fun. AK-12 yawns as she holds M16 down for A-94 to break her spinal cord. M16's body slumps. Her face is pressed against the muddy ground, but her eyes remain fixed firmly on Angie. Anything else you'd like to say? Come on, Angelia. Everything you could have returned to normal if you just stayed at the base for a while. Why must you... I've changed my mind. Pull out the language module as well. Roger. M16 opens her mouth, but no words come out. She can only accept her fate with a grim chuckle. We've hidden the other members of the AR team and sent their coordinates to Persica's mailbox. Good. Then let's go. Take me to where you encountered the strangers. This is where we encountered the unidentified enemies. Seen these before. The ground is covered in traces of a battle as well as messy footprints, but Angie's eyes overlooked them completely and are instead fixed on... Ah, I knew that would catch your attention too. I still don't understand humans very well, but I'm guessing this is some sort of signpost. A grotesque corpse is hoisted up at a nondescript fork on the path. It is clearly created by sewing parts from multiple human corpses together in a roughly humanoid shape. The monstrosity is pointing at the smaller part with its right hand. But what has drawn Angel's eyes and kept it transfixed is the wooden sign hanging on the corpse's chest. Angelia, I know you're a murderer. Oh dear. Have 94 and I seen something that we shouldn't see? If you want, we can delete this memory when we're back at the lab. Angie, do you know who would leave you such a message? There are too many possibilities. I can't think of anyone who'd be into such dumb nonsense. Looks like we'll end up finding an unexpected nemesis of yours. I don't care. What really bothers me, though... Angie recalls the photograph of Novikov's murdered body at this crime scene that the interrogator had shown her. The familiar sign of torture, the familiar dagger to the neck. Only someone who knows her extremely well could possibly know about these things. But there's no such person in the world anymore. Angie? Come. Let's see which debt this nemesis would like to settle with me. Captain Ganglati, as you expected, the target has forced her way out of Griffin encirclement and is heading this way. Send a forward squad to draw out of her to our forces lying in ambush. We've done that, but she seemed to be able to tell where she would be ambushed along the way. She evaded all the traps. The two dogs accompanying her also completely unharmed. The target seems to know your tactics very well. That makes it a lot more interesting. Vengeance would be boring if it's just a one-sided beatdown. The man is standing on the crumbled window frame with his arms open. The wind blows against him. We are finally going to meet Commander Angelia. I know that he's either Armin or Zamran, but at the same time, I don't know what they've done to his memories to make him so... wrong? That is... Actually, no, it can't be. It can't be Zamran. It should be Armin. Because Zamran has the entire his entire arm replaced by a mechanical one, right? Can hardly wait to grind you into bolognese. Bolognese? Wait. Going in the direction pointed by the grotesque signpost, they had a few encounters with the enemy. After clearing the battlefield, the wolf pack piled several enemy corpses together. They look like that signpost. They are neither doll nor human, but amalgamations of human flesh and machine. Judging by the human parts, assembly occurred after the humans had died. I don't understand the purpose of creating them. I also haven't been able to figure out how they are powered. So gross. Angie squats down by one of the corpses and studies the camouflage uniform and military insignia on the enemy intently. She tears its collar open. Doc tack. It doesn't seem to be a shoddy counterfeit. Angie, you're looking a bit scary. Angie's fingers brush over the insignia etched into the doc tag. Smelled squat. From what I know, the unit you were in was disbanded during the disarmament. Even before that, they were... Angie suddenly falls silent. Her face looks even more grim. So these enemies of unknown origin are dressed and armed like soldiers from a human military unit that no longer exists. But they are human machines spliced together. I don't understand the rationale. Neither the appearance of human soldiers nor the spliced parts have improved their performance in combat significantly. Only a lunatic could do such a thing. I will not forgive whoever did this. Ekatwell flips a corpse over and back again. These may just be discarded rejects. Rejects. From what I can tell, they're all shoddy counterfeits. Angie, a new signpost. Angie looks at where K-12 is pointing and sees a humanoid signpost in the distant ruins. Its decomposing clothing fluttering lightly in the wind. Let's go. Should we do anything with the dock tax? No, just let them rot here. Okay. Angie, the abandoned city is just up ahead. Radiation levels are high, and so is the risk of ambush. How do we proceed? Angie scans the ruins coldly. Her lips slowly curl into a cruel smile. A perfect stage for vengeance, don't you think? Though who will be the one who to suffer retribution is still open to question. Angie takes the lead and slides down on the slope. Under the wolf pack's cover, she makes for the signpost in the ruins. Written on the wooden sign is, Angelia, you killed 2. 2. That must have narrowed it down significantly. Looks like the enemy is luring us in with such information. Yeah, they must be getting pretty impatient. Angie looks in the direction pointed out by the necrotic signpost, and finds an abandoned building tilted to one side. Oh, they desperately want us dead. Let's keep going. Angie, I cannot detect the enemy signals. We mustn't rule out the possibility of an ambush. It's a no-brainer. Prepare for battle. Roger. In the center of the empty foyer stand 2 corpses. Their wooden signs reads, "One who loved me as a brother, one whom I loved as a sister." Are they hinting at the fact that the 2 deceased had familial ties? So our skulking nemesis is a family man. A corpse falls from a great height and crashes heavily onto the floor. Stay alert. Roger. The Wolfpack raise their weapon in unison. Under A-94's cover, AK-12 slowly approaches the corpse. And he looks up where it fell from, but there's nothing but empty darkness. The word written on the wooden sign of this corpse is Sana. It looks like a name. Sana? Watch out! And A-94 suddenly shoves Angie to one side. Another corpse falls from above. This time, Angie sees the word clearly for herself. Armin. Another name. Are these the names of the deceased? Sana? Armin? Angie can clearly feel her own arms trembling as AK-12 helps her to her feet. What's the matter with you? It's her. It could only be her. You know who's behind this? Laplace's demon. You and I are the only one who left who still remember these names. It's fine. Take care, Icy. Absolutely nothing to apologize for. The light disappears in an instant, as if the sky itself has collapsed. Multiple enemies approaching. Angie, don't stray too far. Don't fire without my permission. Understood. The sound of echoing footsteps, followed by the ear-splitting groan of some metallic sharp objects scraping against the wall. A flat voice speaks from above them. Commander Angelia, we finally meet again. Who are you? Did Meitner send you? Me? I'm just a dead soul who should have decomposed in my grave. But teacher gave me a chance by resurrecting me. I knew it. She's behind all of this. And I shall seek revenge on you with my mutilated life. Something slices through the air and hurtles towards Angie at an incomprehensible speed. She feels the earth will shake beneath her. Get down. Angelia, do you think you can face me the way you are now? The enemy is on the 3rd floor, Angie. Please give the order. Get them. Angie spits out 2 words through gritted teeth. Continuous muzzle flashes pierce through the darkness, and Angie starts climbing the stairs under the Wolfpack's protection. Upon reaching every level, the horde of countless patchwork corpses swarm toward them from seemingly out of nowhere. We're surrounded. Where did the bastard go? We can't detect the enemy signals. Looking for me? The voice is incredibly clear, even in the cacophony of gunfire. Where is Meitner? Get her to come and face me. Commander Angelia, you disappoint me. Don't you think you have any right to seek vengeance on Teacher after what you've done? This is between you and me. She has nothing to do with this. If you dare to refer to Teacher in such a disrespectful manner, again I will... A steel rebar flies towards A-94 at breakneck speed. 94? Don't worry, the damage is minimal. It won't affect my combat performance. Stay by me, I'll cover you. The footsteps of the person who spoke fade into the distance. Stop right there! Come on, Angelia, if you want to learn the truth, come to the rooftop. That is, if you can make it up there in one piece. Angie, please don't go off on your own. The Patchwork Corps' movements and attacks are not particularly fast, so they are not difficult for the Wolfpack to dispatch, but they have the absolute advantage in numbers. Whenever the wolf pack eliminates a row of corpses, new ones take their place. Slow them down here. I'll go after that one by myself. But that's an order. Trust your commander's judgment. Angie, do you have a firearm? You're not planning to go charging in with just a small knife, are you? No? Give me one. I guess we'll toss Angie her sidearm. Try to last till we can get to you. Right. Relying on the faint light, Angie feels her way up the spiral staircase. Round and round she goes, her thighs slowly grow numb, and even her head is getting a little fuzzy. At long last, the door comes into view, and she throws herself at it without any hesitation. The sky has not gone completely dark yet. The last bit of waning sunlight is enough for Angie to make out the appearance of the enemy who has led her on a wild goose chase for half a day. A tall and slender figure, lustreless eyes half covered by frazzled hair, he looks like a gnarled, dead tree standing stubbornly before her. Only his metallic artificial limbs glisten coldly in the evening sky. The moment their eyes meet, Angie's finger freezes on the trigger. It's you. Commander Angelia, it's a pleasure to see you again. I hope you still remember me. I am Ganglati. Ganglati. The pistol suddenly feels incredibly heavy in Angie's hands. She grits her teeth and aims at the wiry figure. Why are you... Who did this to you? You were dead. You died right in front of me. Oh, death. The gates of Abaddon claimed me, but Teacher held out a hand to me. It's her. She's the one who did this to you? Indeed. Otherwise, I would not have the chance to seek vengeance. He mutters softly as he slowly approaches Angie. She immediately notices the poor fit of his artificial legs. They are too heavy for him, and they produce an ear-splitting screech every step he takes. Lugging this body, he pushes Angie closer and closer to despair. Enough. He stops a few steps away from Angie, his lusterless eyes staring unblinkingly at her. Then, his stiff lips curl into a grotesque grin. Now the gates of Abaddon have opened to welcome you, Commander Angelia. Die. Angie evades the shot he fires without warning. You look more like a resident of Abaddon yourself. My sister Sana and my brother Armin have waited too long for this day. They're both dead. No. He interrupts Angie mercilessly. At the same moment, a grenade hurtles towards her. Angie barely managed to dodge it in time. She dives sideways, but still caught in the shockwave of the blast. Death is only the beginning. Death is death. Teacher will bring them back to my side. Engrossed in his own melody, he launches a series of frenzied attacks. Angie tightens her grip on a pistol and darts from cover to cover on the not too spacious rooftop. Why? Why give me a second chance? With her back against the shaking obstacle that Angie is using as cover, the memory of Ramzan's death plays out once more in her mind. No matter how many times it takes, I will make sure you can rest in peace. Well, I guess we are now actively killing Ramzan. Well, the thing that is revived as Ramzan. What the hell is that? That is a lot of strength on that enemy unit there, and down there, and up there, and... Bleh. There doesn't seem to be any special features to this one. 80 BPM, so we can move a little bit. You are alerted to the entire spiderweb. You are alerted to only the first few nodes. Well, you are alerted to those few nodes. Huh. For the moment, I don't think I'll need this. But it's neat that I have this. I can detonate an abandoned building. Neat. Though not super helpful. This should leave me in a safe spot, apart from this one. But that one is not exactly dangerous. What I am noticing is that I'm going to need some extra stuff here. I'm also going to have to lure this one out by standing on this exact tile. Okay. I'm glad he prepares to move close to the nets. Some of the enemies are moving more swiftly. I don't really know what to do about that. The amount of building collapse causing Angel's heart rate to increase. That is actually a problem in its own right. Because I don't believe I can get through there. Yeah, I cannot. That's a problem. I'm gonna have to restart this mission, I believe. I will have to go around the right side. The problem is... Oh, I can make it past. I can't make it exactly past. I need to go right there. Surround capture this node, get an extra movement point. In this first turn, the enemy can only move one tile. However, in every future turn, the enemy can move 2 tiles, so I'm gonna have to blow up the ruin. Okay. Alright then. So we had 100 BPM, which will drop back down once it turns to be my turn. So we're gonna need a combat... Actually, we might not need a combat buff, but we're gonna take a combat buff. Why not? It'll also break the route that the enemy might be able to take for us. Because we want the enemy main unit to go for us, not the super buffed spiders. Bang. End turn. He should be going straight for us. Theoretically. The spider will attempt to get to us, but doesn't have enough movement points. And that's the mission complete. Very good. Swan, Group 9, number 6. He lets out a low and maniacal laugh. He's out of ammunition. Facing him directly, Angel's weapon is still aimed at him, but her trembling fingers hover hesitantly on the trigger. Why don't you shoot? I'm quite certain you still have one last round. Or are you saving it for yourself? Tell me, what really happened? What the hell happened to you? You have no right to ask. You're the one responsible for this entire tragedy. Both Armin and Sana died at your hands. What are you talking about? Have you forgotten what happened in Bethlehem? Never. It was in Bethlehem that you shot them and killed them. Angie, why? Angie, can you not point a gun at me? I'm scared. Despite Armin and Sana's pleas, Angie refuses to lower her gun. What are you doing? Put down your gun! Lottie cries out furiously, but Angie simply turns to snickers. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you this instant! Fueled by his rage, he throws away his now useless firearm and charges at Angie. Angie immediately rolls behind a piece of obstacle. I didn't shoot them. I could never fire at them. With rage surging in his veins, he raises his knife and charges at Angie with reckless abandon. What's taking teacher so long? She'll be here very soon. Why don't you have some milk first? It'll get cold if you leave it. I don't like milk. You drink it for me. The warm milk is pushed up to his face. Now, Sana, if teacher finds out you didn't drink your milk when she gets here, she won't take you to fun places. That won't do. You guys are so unhelpful. And Armin's in his watchful gaze. Sana drinks up all the milk. Sana was so young when you killed her. She was so innocent. Why did she have to die, but not you? Lottie, is that really your name? Try to recall your real name. His face contorts with wrath. He lets out a primal scream and throws himself at Angie behind her cover. Let me kill you here and now. He raises his knife as he laughs maniacally. Small yellow bird falls, its head buried in the knee-deep snow. Ah, I killed it. Don't cry, Sana. Didn't mean to do it. I didn't want to kill the bird. I know. You just wanted to play a let's pretend shooting game with me. Don't cry. But I killed it by accident. There. Dry your tears. We'll go find teacher. She'll think of something. Really? Yeah, she saved me, so I'm sure she can save a little bird too. After wiping away the tears that's on his face, Ganglati takes her hand and leads her further into the snowfield. Sana was just a little girl, who'd cry because she killed a bird without meaning to. How could you kill such a girl? She was my only little sister, the little sister that Armin and I vowed to protect together. He grabs Angie by the throat and lifts her off the floor. Angie's face is deathly pale. Her right leg is gone from below the knee, blood is spewing from the open wound. I didn't cry. What? When that bird fell, I didn't cry. What did you say? You picked up the dead bird and lied to me, saying you shot it deliberately. Back then I believed you, and I genuinely thought you were an absolute bastard. I hate you. Shut up, what the hell are you talking about? Angie's eyes become bloodshot. She writhes desperately, trying to free a windpipe from his hands and steal her breath, but her struggle only makes him tighten his grip. Ramzan, let go. Shut up! You are Ramzan, not Ganglati. My name is Ganglati. Don't call me by that other... Ramzan! She pulls the trigger. The bullet grazes his temple, blowing off the device that had come loose earlier. As the device falls to the floor, a cacophony of sound crashes into his mind like a tsunami. A small yellow bird falls, its head buried knee-deep in the snow. Oh, the bird fell. I think I might have hit it. Anna goes pale. She bites her lips as guilt threatens to overwhelm her. Are you full of yourself? It was me, as if you could shoot so accurately. I only hit it because I've been taking aim carefully for ages. Why would I want to play Let's Pretend shooting game with you? You're such a lousy shot, it's more fun to shoot birds on my own. Is that true? Anna's pale face darkens. Yeah, what of it? Anna responds to Ramsden's mean gibes with a sucker punch. The two are locked in a scuffle until their elder brother comes along and breaks up the fight, just like many afternoons in their childhood. Anna? He loses his grip in a daze. Anna falls to the floor. This can't be. This is a trick. I don't believe it. It wasn't Anna, it was Sana. That time, I wanted to beat you in our game so much. I secretly took out half the rounds in your toy gun before we headed out. By the time we reached the birch wood, you'd already used them all up. Ramzan, you are Ramzan. He strikes the floor with his knife frantically. I'm not Ramzan. I am Ganglati. I've been freed from the thrall of death and returned. Teacher granted me new life. She will never deceive me. Captain Ramza, we are siblings. We fought together, side by side. I watched you die. Lies, you're lying. You're already dead. You are now a monster. He flings the obstacle next to Engie off the rooftop. Engie, now on the verge of death, is lying by his feet. Monster? Ramzan, I will not allow... No. How could you allow yourself to live in this pitiful state? Sana. For Armin. No. Sana? Anna? Anna closes her eyes, fighting back tears. Brother. What? Anna's pallid face overlaps with a youthful face in this memory. The two are standing by in the snow outside a small cabin, staring at each other blankly. Ramzan's eyes this little girl who seems to have appeared out of nowhere in bemusement. She's small and lean and wearing a uniform that's clearly not warm enough in this weather. Hello, Reki, how are you doing? Let me give you a shout out real quick. How are you doing? Doing fine? I see. Were you just chilling with Classic, I'm guessing? Or maybe just doing stuff on your own. Doing Mentored. Ah. What did you end up playing in there? Like, what did you get in Mentored? Aurum Vale as tank. Well, at least you were in control of the situation. Positives. Also, Aurum Vale really isn't that bad anymore. It's quite simple nowadays. Yeah, thank you very much for being here. Forgot thanks sense until the middle of the second boss. Reki, you're the mentor. You're supposed to know what you're doing. Come on, man. I find that very amusing. Didn't lose mobs. Huh. I mean, good on you. Yeah. That is, huh. Yeah. I do hope that it was fun, though. Though you were probably doing that Aurum Vale run for quite a while if it went that way. Maybe for like 20 minutes, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, welcome. You've joined me in playing through the current GFL events, where the entire event is revolving around Anna Viktorovna Tsoi, Angelia. One of the most badass characters I have witnessed in gaming, and honestly, the most interesting character in this entire game. Unfortunately, I am halfway sure that she might be dying in this event. I really don't know where this is going anymore. Like, I don't know. But man, I don't want Angie to die, because that would be a shame. That would be a massive shame. Eyes are flat and dull. She seems to be looking at Ramzan, or maybe she's looking right through him at something far away. Who are you? Russell. Someone trudges through the snow behind him. It's his brother with a cloak draped over his arm. Armin runs up to the girl and wraps the cloak around her. Ramzan, don't just stand there. Get inside and prepare some hot water and food. What's the meaning of this? This is Anna. From now on, she'll be our little sister. I don't want a little sister. Hey, don't be a brat now. Like it or not, Anna is a little sister from now on, and we must protect her together. Got that? Anna, have some milk. It's freshly warmed up. Thank you. Where are you going? You're meeting up with Martha Meitner again, aren't you? None of your business. Ramsden knocks the cup of milk out of Anna's hand angrily. Ramsden, what are you doing? I forbid you from seeing that bastard. She's pinned us. Anna ignores him. She picks up a school bag and leaves the cabin in a hurry. Just like when they first met, the two are standing across from each other wordlessly, and this time in a ravaged classroom. The blood stains on the floor have dried, but they haven't been cleaned up. They're both staring at the same puddle of blood. At least it was quick. I looked at the body. The bullet went right through his brain. It was instant and painless. He was lucky compared to the others. Do you know how many died today at Western High School? Some got shot, others got trampled, and there were those who held on for a long time before finally dying in pain. So Armin had it easy. Then why are you crying? Ramzan is doing everything he can to swallow his sobs, but they still rack his body against his will. Ramzan. Anna steps toward Ramzan stiffly. She pulls him gently into her arms and strokes his back. This is how Armin would confront us, isn't it? Ramzan recognizes her immediately, even in the uniform. Ramzan? What are you doing here? I enlisted as well. I explicitly forbade you from enlisting. I told you to stay home. You forbade me from doing many things. You never listened to me. What's wrong with living out your days in peace back home? You have no right to interfere with my life. Anna turns and stalks off after giving him a cold salute. Ramzan gazes at her back and is struck by how unfamiliar it looks. The little sister he is trying so desperately to protect us, determined to break free from under his wing. Armin, if you were still here, what would you do? His right temple is pierced by another sharp pain. He can hear the sound of a building collapsing in his head. Anna. You're Anna. Ramzan smiles vainly and... I don't know how you say that. Wanly? And looks down at his blood-soaked hands. There's no going back. A series of bullets lands by his feet, forcing him to back away from Angie. The wolf pack has made it. No, wait! Angie tries with all her might to prop herself up, but the voice is too weak for the wolf pack to hear from where they are. Ramzan suddenly bursts out laughing. He walks over to the edge of the rooftop, all the while chuckling flatly. He grins at Anna again, the same sly grin from when he lied to Anna all those years ago. Call me brother one last time. Bastard, Ramzan, you're a bastard. If you're scared, just close your eyes. Fuck off. He takes another step closer to the edge. No, come back. He picks up the empty gun and points it at Angie. Look this way, Anna. While Armin is fetching his code, Ramzan secretly aims his toy gun at Anna again. Over here, Anna. Anna turns her head and looks at Ramzan coldly. He pulls the trigger with the toy gun and several plastic rounds land by Angie's feet. Hey, why didn't you run? No fun. The one who should be running is you. Anna fishes out a pebble wrapped in snow from a pocket and slows it accurately at Ramzan's hand. Alright, just this once. I'll do my job as an elder brother. I'll avenge you. I swear, I will avenge you. Even if I tell you not to, you wouldn't listen. Doesn't matter, that's just who you are. Baby sister is always a pain in the ass and who never does as I say. He's still smiling at Angie. Ramzan. He remembers now. He died in that operation. He sacrificed his own life to snatch her back from the maw of death. After all, he promised Amin he would protect the little sister. He finally remembers. Anna threw herself over him and bawled. Her warm tears fell on his face, his hands. He can now recall that warmth. I genuinely thought I'd clawed my way back from Abaddon back into the world of the living, but I never actually got out. Ramzan holds out a hand to Angel with a gentle smile, just like he did at a graduation prom. I need to go. Anna, I'll be waiting for you on the other side. You don't have to wait for long. Won't have to wait for too long. A gust of wind blows by. Ramzan lets the dawn gust sweep him off the rooftop and into the bottomless abyss. Brother. Ramzan disappears from view as Angel cries out faintly. Dawn breaks on the horizon, bringing forth a surge of light. The pearly white light spreads out toward darkness, expelling it. Angie, you lost a lot of blood. You require immediate medical treatment. A94 helps up Angie apprehensively and tries to staunch the bleeding. 12. I'm here. Blow up this place. It would certainly be my pleasure, but why? From now on, there's no Ramzan or Anna. There's no more Ganglatia Commander Angelia either. Ending your vendetta with a bang? Never took you for a romantic. A94 hoists Angie on her back and leads to Prakara's building. AK-12 promptly sets the explosives and catches up with them. I'm guessing you'll want to trigger the detonation yourself? Yes, give me the detonator. On the top of the names you just listed off, I think we should bury one more here. What? Wolfpack. It's such an irksome name. Hearing it always reminds me of an unsavory character. Do you mean... Then let's go with Defy. Angie closes her eyes and slowly rests her head on A94's shoulder. From this day on, we will be walking down a path of darkness, leaving the light behind. We will defy the rules and the dogmas of the world and do as we please. Defy? I like it. I have no objections. Angie smiles. Then she pushes the button on the detonator. This is my gift to you. Good. Did the job and set my wrath ablaze. Abaddon, I shall await you in hell. Laplace's demon, I will dispatch you with my own hands, in my own way. No matter how many times you lose your memory, no matter how the people around you present themselves, you never change your mind. I expect nothing less from my students. You don't seem to know her well enough. It's a pity, but that's how it is with humans. You think you know someone very well, when in fact you don't know them at all. Fortunately, we now have all the time in the world. Dear Meitner, I did not expect to hear from you again after so long. It is both heartening and saddening, but our friendship is now tainted. Your strength, courage, and tenacity still shine through brightly. You are still as passionate and indomitable as you've always been. However, you've gone down the wrong path. We are no longer fellow travelers sharing the same adventure. I'm sorry, but I must decline to participate in this project. I still miss our days at Hopkins University. Blackwell, Berlin, 2058. There's still so much to go, what the fuck? I have no idea how long this event is. Fucking hell. Whew. Should I continue a little bit or should I stop here? I'll continue a little bit further. Now, with the final form of Angie. Sort of. Kind of. Now with even more robotic limbs. Dear Blackwell, it's been a long time since our last correspondence. For whatever reason, even in this technologically advanced age, I still prefer maintaining our relationships using more traditional means. The Hela project has a ridiculously high rate of failure. Even the only test subject is not much better than garbage. You probably don't want to hear any more about this, but I've got to share with you how I feel right now. It is time I gave up some things. Giving up does not lead to loss. On the contrary, we gain more by giving up. This is my latest epiphany. I am hoping we could meet. Same old place in Bremen? Minor, Berlin, 2058. Fall 2064. The whole world can tell that a storm is brewing. Now that the harvest season is here, everyone is eager to pick their own share of fruit from the large orchard. As an important city within the purification zone on German soil, Bremen is often the first choice for emigrating refugees due to its unique urban policies. Outskirts of Bremen, Germany. Today is just like any other day in Bremen. Border control is being swarmed by a large jostling crowd. For those who are desperate to escape from a life of suffering, this place is the last remaining lifeline. We have arrived at the designated location, 3.17 kilometers away from the Bremen quarantine wall checkpoint. We should keep moving and rendezvous with Team B as soon as possible. Angie looks up at the sky and feels the dazzling sunlight on her body. She stretches out her arms and clasps her hands together. Her sluggish body crackles from time to time with a stretch. She lets go when her organic arm protests under the strain placed by her prosthetic arm. She stands at the back of her right hand, which has gone white from lack of blood circulation. Are you alright, Angie? If you want to loosen up a bit, there are better alternatives than doing Soviet morning broadcast workouts. For instance, shooing away or shaking off the rats sniffing at us. They've sure been patient. We have already been keeping a very low profile, but they still managed to sniff us out. We are now in foreign territory. Things could get tricky if we cause a shootout before meeting with Madame Ulrich. I'm attracting attention because I'm valuable. Not because I'm dangerous. We can just ignore them. RPK? I've planned our routes. By the way, I recommend setting off sooner rather than later, or 12 will start suffering from Angie withdrawal symptoms. Angie? Angie's eyes twitches slightly as the studies the route plotted on the map that RPK just handed her. She jumps her fingers on the prosthetic arm and shakes her head. I've got a new plan. There's a place in Bremen that I want to check out before meeting with Ulrich. We'll regroup with the others afterwards. Oh. RPK peers at Angie thoughtfully with narrowed eyes. I'm curious, what kind of place would pique Miss Angie's interest enough to warrant a special visit? That's not for you to worry about. Then what's the target location of your new plan? A second-hand record shop in Bremen Old Town. The name is Million Roses. It's an old shop. Understood. A94 seems a bit confused, but she says nothing. Angie lifts her head and purses her slightly dry lips as she recalls the message from 12 hours ago. The mysterious message that has led her to come to this decision and change her plans. Captain Anna Viktorovna Tsoy, the White Sparrow you are looking for is by Ulrich's side. I would like to be the first person to you meet in Germany. Samozina. I don't know what that means. Million Roses, Record Shop Bremen. Standing outside the shop front, Angie can't help but wrinkle her nose at the faintly musty smell of mold and dust coming from inside the shop. The slightly run-down record shop is located on a quiet street with very few pedestrians. The trio looks incredibly out of place standing at the door. I can go in on my own. You two stand guard out here. Try to lie down. Lie low. Don't draw too much attention. Are you really going in alone? Don't worry, I won't snap anyone's neck. I'll be nearby, stay in touch. After watching Angie disappear into the shop, RPK blinks. A mysterious figure whom even we must know about. Angie has her own ideas. Our job is just to obey. You're so cute when you're so cute you have no business being with the rest of us, 94. The door closes loudly, producing a sound that echoes through the cramped space and sends dust billowing. However, nobody complains about their abrupt noise. After all, it's just an old second-hand record shop with barely any customers. Angie wipes the tip of her nose to avoid breathing in too much dust. Then she strolls slowly among the shelves, eyes wandering from record to record. The only other person in the shop is the old shopkeeper, who's currently sitting behind the counter. He's reading an old-fashioned newspaper, smoking a cigarette perched between his lips. He does not seem remotely interested in Angie. Angie suddenly comes to a halt. Her gaze is fixed on something on a shelf. She happens to be standing at a blind spot from the counter, and she cannot see the old shopkeeper and vice versa. And she reaches out silently and picks up the album that has caught her eye. Million Roses. The album name printed on the yellow cover is also the name of the shop. From what Angie remembers, this album is Million Roses from 1983. Even such an old piece of antique garners no interest in a shop like this. It tells a very corny love story. The kind of love story that nobody appreciates or puts stock in these days. Angie is obviously included in the nobody. But right now, as she stares at this album, she feels compelled by some inexplicable force to take a closer look. The weathered album jacket feels like it could fall apart any second, and she opens the album to reveal a cherished record in mint condition. Then she noticed that on the internal leaf on the album packaging are some words written in slightly faded ink. The piece of paper is already deteriorated, but the writer's extraordinary poise can still be gleaned from the graceful flowing strokes. Dear you in 100 years. By the time you see this album, I will probably be long gone. The world I'm living in right now is filled with despair. It's sad that humankind would only start working together in earnest when faced with a natural disaster. I imagine you, who are now reading this note, must be living in a better, more unified world where problems such as radiation and environmental contamination have been solved. If that is true, then I must say from the bottom of my heart how I envy you. Angie's chest tightens and her heart feels heavy. Is that a note from her mother? No. The door is pushed open, making the doorbell chime. The floorboards creak as a woman with neat short hair comes into the shop. Oh. For a shop that specializes in selling antique and vintage items, the customers are few and far between. Sometimes it won't even get a single patron an entire week. Right now, the shop is as busy as it has been for a long while. Hey, Miss Angelia. I hope I haven't kept you waiting too long. Angie slowly closes the album and puts it back on the shelf. Gathering her thoughts, she turns around and looks at the short-haired woman standing in front of her. Sabosina? Here you can call me Agent Q. The short-haired woman raises her chin and smiles at Angie. Angie takes in her appearance and attire, as well as her fingers typing rapidly on the communicator, and can't help but feel a bit flabbergasted. So you're just blatantly advertising the fact that you're a double agent. Don't worry, I work both jobs meticulously. Neither of my bosses will come to any harm. I'm not here for this kind of crap. Get to the point. Suit me just fine. I don't like beating around the bush either. I've read your file in Lubyanka. You're investigating Paradise, aren't you? Then we're on the same side regarding this matter. Which boss are you investigating them for? Well, both of them. They share the same position. If you insist on being cryptic, there's no point in continuing this discussion. Of course. However, it's impossible to explain everything in just a few words. Why don't you buy me a coffee? I only like vodka. They have coffee with vodka, and they have coffee vodka on the menu. That's an insult to vodka. The two women put their secret conversation on hold to purchase some food and records like ordinary customers. Angie gets herself the Million Roses and a cup of decaf vodka coffee. On the other hand, Q orders practically every snack and beverage available on the menu. You'd better finish it all. Don't worry, this will last me through the entire afternoon. Do you remember the Sunspot incident? The incident that set the Stasi's intelligence network on the Neo-Soviet Union back 20 years? Precisely. Ever since then, the Stasi's reputation status have gone down the gutter. My boss in Germany is, how do I put it, an overachieving perfectionist workaholic. To give you a rough idea, if they were pasta making competition, she would end up making pasta so long it could go around the planet 3 times. Yeah, that's the kind of freak she is. She aspires to restore the Stasi to its former glory. An ambitious aspiration. But she actually did it. I'll let you take a peek. Huh. Astonishing, isn't it? The sheer scale. Lubyanka... Oh. Lubyanka didn't mention anything about the system. Miraculous, don't you think? That leads me to only one conclusion. It looks like your boss in Lubyanka is practically the Stasi's running dog at this point. Might not be the best choice of words, but that's pretty much how it is. This system is named Beasting. Oh. Thank you very much for the follow, Divine Gamer. I hope you're having a great evening. I'm doing great. I'm having a good time with the Ghost Frontline event. The system named Beasting is essentially a real-time surveillance system. But my boss in Germany has recently discovered that there's someone else behind it. Paradise. Indeed. Is this why you insist on being the first to meet me in Germany? Yes, the Sparrow by Ulrich's side has long been transparent. Angie, we can work together. This whole thing is so laughable I don't even know what to say. It may look like a sports car, but the wheels are manually pushed by 4 men hiding underneath. That's the truth with many new inventions. How do I hide from the surveillance systems? You don't. It's impossible. Which is why I'm taking such a big risk in meeting in person. This information can only come straight from me to you. Anything remote, they'll see. If there are any unknown personnel around you, or if you communicate via an unencrypted channel, they'll see. Just to be clear, I have no desire to get involved in the Stasi's infighting. I'm not interested. I'm very sorry. I apologize. It's fine. At the moment, I am not interested in that. Yeah. I hope you find people that will be interested, though. Yeah. I apologize for my very direct answer. Like, even if I were looking for art, I have to be completely honest. It was just doing it for free. I understand. On behalf of many a streamer, I can give you a little bit of a tip. I know this is not exactly helpful, and I know that it's very difficult to find customers. But appearing in someone's chat and letting and telling the people that right after you go there and follow them, that you're offering them free art, it makes you sound like a scam. I'm not saying you are one. I'm just saying that it's not the best way to advertise your feature. I understand. It still just doesn't... It doesn't feel right. Something about it is just off-putting. I'm not accusing you of anything. Like, I don't know, you might be just perfectly fine and everything. But the way that it comes through just is very suspicious. I understand that this might be the... Merry Christmas. I'm very sorry to be this direct, but yeah. It's just one of those things, while I understand that it's probably the easiest way to think of to find a client, or, like, to get your work out there, improve your work, and, you know, it just doesn't work this way. I don't have really any advice on how to do it otherwise. I can just tell you that most people will decline you just by the way that it seems fishy. Oh no, I understand that you are offering to do it for free. I understand it very well. But whenever something looks or seems to be too good to be true, it usually is. I apologize, though. Relax, I'll handle K. Back when we were in training, I always beat him in everything. That's why he's only good enough to work on a little sheep like the incumbent director. I'm very sorry. Take care, Divine Gamer. I apologize for being so harsh and direct, but still. Hello, Liari. Liari? I don't know how to say your name. I'm very sorry. What? You sure that's the boss you're betting on getting... Well, you sure that the boss you're betting on will get ahead? Absolutely. What's the basis of your judgment? My mission reimbursement is 3 times case. That's so many of those for the past few streams. Same. The thing is that sometimes, like this one just now, they don't have the same responses as a bot. So I believe that this person might actually be a real artist looking to get their work out there. Unfortunately, the way that they're doing it is still not good. Yeah. Usually you get very bot-like responses, and that just didn't... It was a little bit different this time around. Who is the sparrow by the side? No secretary, Mordo. She's what they call a Naito. After swallowing the last bite of a brownie, Q gets her feet and picks up the most expensive record on display. You get the bill this time. My treat next time. Q looks at the speechless Angie and smiles. Then she turns and takes a leave, disappearing silently beyond the shelves. Angie's left on her own. But yeah, usually they end up being extremely robotic and predictable. Funnily enough, they've attempted to go away from that robotic response system, but they've just changed their responses in a different way where they seem robotic. Because usually it used to be the thing where they came into your chat and were like, "Hey, I'm an artist doing this and that and this and that for low prices. Are you interested?" No. Now they go, "Hey, how are you doing? I've seen your stream advertisement on insert platform here. I'm really interested. What do you do?" And then it goes down that rabbit hole, and then, like, a few messages down the line, they're like, "By the way, I'm an artist." Still a very robotic line, and... yeah... eh. Fiddle on the roof, that is... yeah. But how are you doing, Liari? I hope you're doing well. And I'm very sorry that you have to deal with those as well. On an Autobahn in Berlin. A 7-seater Porsche SUV is cruising steadily at 120 km per hour. Feigning interest in you and your stream, then jumping straight to the... yeah, exactly. This is a very interesting 8-bit rendition of the game's soundtrack. Just popping in saying hi when I saw the conversation. You're entirely free to lurk, by the way, if you prefer that. I'm not keeping the conversation going forcibly here. Like, I understand lurkers, and I understand that a lot of people just want to see people react to the same bits of content that they enjoy. And I will also say that 120 on the Autobahn is not exactly fast. 180 or bust. Though that's also just how fast my car can go. I wish I could go faster. Anyway, the German oak trees bathing in the sun on both sides of the road flash by rapidly. Again, at 120, that's not flashing by rapidly. That's still at a leisurely pace on the Autobahn. The idyllic view is ruined by the incongruent music playing in the car. It's the kind of music a DJ would play at a nightclub that charges 20 euros per hour. Play something else. How am I supposed to sleep with this blaring on the stereo? I put this on precisely to keep myself awake. The communicator chirps. Morido escaped. From the plane. Yep. She jumped right up from a height of about 400 feet. The Stasi has been searching the river channels in the area. Nothing. What did Kay say? This is a matter that concerns only the German government. That's it. Yeah. Try to make your way to Berlin. 94 will send you the coordinates. I'm driving at the moment. By the way, 16 has something to tell you. I just received a message on my intranet. The message completely bypassed my firewalls. I only noticed it when it came through. I've tried, but I couldn't trace it. What does it say? The subject is a Bible verse number. John 88:12. I am the light of the world. He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life. John chapter 8, verse 12. Why do you know the Bible verses? Excuse me? How pretentious. And revolting. It's probably a stupid question, but does this remind you of anyone in particular? Do I look like I know someone so obnoxious? The message itself reads, Dear Miss Anna Viktorovna Tsoy, I hope you will forgive me for meddling, but I deeply regret what happened in Bremen and the bad decisions the Stasi have made due to the internal strife. There are things I wish to discuss with you concerning Paradeus. Please meet me after lunch. And then there's an address. It looks like an old, like a bar in the old town. A bar called Athena's Owl. Do you know the 3 types of people that I hate the most? People like AK-12 and people like me? People with no conviction, pretentious pricks. And what's the last type? William. Will you go to the meeting? No. I would have been interested if things were different. But now, he's too late and I don't have time for this. Just ignore him, let's meet at the mansion. Aren't you being too impatient? Don't bother, once Angie has made up her mind, even I can't hold her back. Just do as she says. Of course. Angie hangs up and peers at AK-12 and ANT-4 in the back, through the rearview mirror. Send them the coordinates. Done. A car honks at them from behind. Angie can't help but frown. What's his problem? Oh, we've passed high-speed restricted stretch. Oh, we've passed the speed restricted stretch. Q turns the steering wheel and changes to the rightmost lane on the motorway. Generally speaking, the advisory speed limit here is 130 km per hour, but there are stretches where the limit doesn't apply. The car behind them roars past them on the left. It disappears from view in the blink of an eye. I would do that too! Again, driving on the Autobahn is a very courteous system, honestly. If you want to drive at the speed limit, you drive on the rightmost lane. Well, actually, it's not the speed limit, like the advised speed of 130 or lower. Drive on the rightmost lane. The leftmost lane is only for overtaking. Only for overtaking. And you can actually get a fine, and will get a fine if you are on the left side and just holding up the traffic, which is very nice, because that keeps people out of the left lane. Why should we let them pass? Hey, we're in a disguised civilian vehicle. Stop the car, let me give you a proper demonstration of how to operate in disguise. With a furrowed brow, Q pulls up on her shoulder. She gets out of the car and moves over to the passenger seat. For the record, this is my boss's car. Anything else I need to know? Let it go on. Let's get it out of the way. I had a very big breakfast. I don't want to throw up in the car. Before she could finish, the black Porsche roars to life and speeds down the Autobahn at a speed of nearly 200 km per hour. That's a more Autobahn-like speed. What the fuck? Hell does not exist. Okay. I don't know what's going on now. The dead return to dust and their souls dissolve into nothingness. Life is so fragile. All it takes is a bullet, a fire, or a stroke of bad luck for it to be snuffed out. You don't scare me anymore. Walking among memories that have risen from her subconscious, Angelia finds herself standing right in the middle of a disaster. A girl is huddled behind the bomb container, trembling as she prays. She is utterly helpless in the face of what had happened. Angie stares at the girl while enduring the deafening noise around her. Hey, get up. I'm telling you to get up. Amidst the chaos, the girl looks up and meets Angie's gaze. Her eyes are swimming with tears. The darkness in those eyes forms a whirlpool, pulling Angie's consciousness into the bottomless abyss. Angie sits up woefully in bed and rubs her temple to clear her head. At this point, she doesn't even bother to ask what AK-12 is doing in her room. She's gotten used to it. Pour me some tea. Are you alright? Only then does Angie notice the grim look on AK-12's face. What do you mean? You were moaning and talking in your sleep. You seemed to be having a nightmare. To be honest, it was really unlike you. It grossed me out a bit. Oh, yeah. I dreamed that I went back to the State Sec. Zelensky threw me a welcoming banquet. All the dishes were duck. You hate duck? I'd rather eat dirt. Angie places her hand on the back of her neck as she softly cranes in this way, and that. Wait, what? Hmm? Angie places her hand on the back of her neck as she softly cranes in this way, and that, making it click. AK-12 knows better than to ask any more questions. She simply gets up and makes a cup of very strong tea, which she leaves on the bedside table. The Griffin Commander has reached Berlin. They left you a message 2 hours ago. The Earl sent the Commander. That much is obvious. Since you wouldn't work with him, he has to send someone who would. Do you think the Earl can be trusted? Hard to say. I mean, he is the one who pulls the strings behind Griffin. Whoever doesn't trust their boss will have to jump ship. I've never liked him. We have nothing in common. And you have a lot in common with Agent Q. And he snores disdainfully. I believe about half of what she says. Will you meet with the Commander? No, it would make the job more difficult if they get caught between me and the Earl. So you're just going to leave them on read? Send them the information you've learned from fighting in Mordor, and tell them that while I appreciate the offer to help, I must go about this on my own. Also tell them, don't trust anyone. Especially the Earl. Understood. Where's Q? She's been contacting the Stasi in Berlin. Oh, by the way, we also heard from Kay. He has apparently arranged for an Agent U to take care of your needs in Berlin. So they got a new guy to watch me. I haven't responded to this message. But I suppose it's only a matter of time for the Stasi to track us down. If Q and U end up locking horns, whose side would we take? We just have to stay ahead and watch them, let them duke it out. Whoever comes out on top will catch up with us. How very like you. My objective is to investigate William. Nothing else matters to me. Then she grabs her coat and throws it over her shoulders. Then she opens the bedroom door. Around 10 Stasi agents are standing in the safe house. A myriad of cartridges, first aid kits, and several crates of weaponry are piled on the floor. There are also 2 very eye-catching grenade launchers. Good stuff. Morning. Take whatever you like. Q is in the middle of conversation with someone on her earpiece. She gestures to Angie with eyes. Best prepare 2 more support teams. I know it's plenty, but you can never be too careful. Also, when will the dogs get here? Our bodies of flesh are very fragile. I'm not trying to be coy. I'm just saying your human subordinates are very much more precious compared to those inhuman creatures. That'll do. That's all for now. You answer the call and watches that NG picks out an M4A1 carbine and lingers in front of an M203 grenade launcher. That's for backup. I recommend leaving that with me. Are you planning to demolish the old house? Since we'll be meeting a creature that fell 400 feet from the sky and came away unscathed, I believe we should show us some basic courtesy. I've never seen such an ostentatious secret agent. Like I said, this is considered basic. When will you move? An hour from now. You mean I only have an hour to search the mansion? You can think of it that way. But the timing isn't up to me. Rather, Big Fish will get here in less than an hour. Who is the Big Fish? Someone in Paradise. Then ask the fish baits. Then ask the fish bait, I better set off. And he puts down the carbine. The Defied Odds follow after without having to be told. Are you going to take some weapons? We are the best weapons she can ask for. Neue Tempelhof of Berlin. William's former residence. The weeds on the lawn really remind me of Vietnam. You've been to Vietnam? It's a metaphor. Angie pushes open the slightly rusted metal grates and frowns as she spots broken chains lying on the ground. Someone got here before us. Look at this cut, freshly made. Doesn't this seem strange to you, Angie? I really think we should proceed with caution. At least let me and 94 scout ahead first. Turning deaf ear to RPK's advice, Angie steps into this unfamiliar courtyard. We're here already. Angie looks up and studies the mansion. This building has obviously been uninhabited since a long time ago. The group walked through the front yard. It must have been many years since the gardener last tended to it. Other than a few buzzing bees, there's no sign of any other living creatures. It's so quiet. No heat source detected inside the building. This eerie silence haunts Angie. Her gut feeling tells her that she's in the right place. She will definitely find what she's after here. RPK, guard the door with 94. Okay. With somewhat meaningful nod, RPK turns around and starts pulling out their equipment. AK-15 gets a powerful shove and the door to the door of the mansion swings open. The double doors shudder and creak, starting to lose a thick layer of dust. They are so out of use that the hinges look as if they might fall off the wall. And he also has a pistol and slowly enters. In the gloomy foyer, there's no sound other than the trio's echoing footsteps. 12. She's on. Patch her through. Drill established. When it comes to fishing, the most important thing is to have patience. I hope your fish is worth it. Of course. Don't worry, I have my eyes on you. Transmission terminated. Well, Angie? Angie says nothing. Instead, she turns back towards the doors that AK-15 has just pushed open. The others are puzzled at first, but then AK-12 and 15 react the same way. A large number of heat sources approaching. It's Paradise. Isle of the Dead. This all is still a very weird event because... Now, I know that I'm not playing the missions on extreme, but on hard, but still. The weird part is that we haven't had a single map where I can spawn my own units. Talk to the agent. So we need to get around here before he dies. Unless they're talking about this agent? Yes, I know that the heart rate mechanic applies. Converse. Hey, you've set traps, right? Yes. Agent Q has told us to aid you in, to the best of our ability. I will now send you information on the battlefields. During the exchange, the shockwave and explosion triggered by a nearby battle has spread to this part of the house. Ugh. The agent is thrown off his feet by the blast. Hey, are you alright? My right leg has gone numb. Don't mind me, Miss Angie. Please leave this. Okay, so they're now hostages. You should probably be able to beat these. Yeah, as long as the shields break down before... Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're good. Very good. That's the first enemy squad defeated. And then right down here, we have another enemy squad. Very good. And rescue this one. Actually, I can set a trap there already. Also, really have to say that it's really weird to hear a certain character's voice out of the mouth of a different character. Miss Grey, 32,000 points of power value. That's still fine. We can capture those two tiles. Unless Miss Grey walks right into that tile there. I kind of want to evacuate the two hostages before we do anything. Just in case that that's a secret objective, maybe? At the same time, she has already stepped on that. What's the objective right now? Eliminates third-party units. That should be fine. Can I spawn something? No, I can't. That's a shame. Retrieval complete. Switch these two. Retrieval complete. Now, we can fight Miss Grey here. Theoretically, we should win. I don't know if we will, but... Our stats are lowered, which is good. Thing is that she has a shitload of HP. Really? Bastards. Is there a refi button? No, there isn't. Motherfucker. That is really dumb. That is really dumb. Start operation, skip the starting bits. Do 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 do. Do do. Right, we can converse and then. Rescue. I'll go into planning mode, you go down here. You go over to here. Execute, there we go. Now, at least the starting bit is absolutely no question whatsoever. It's very simple and very straightforward. It's just that during the fight with Miss Grey, we seemingly have to move our units around to actually stop them from just running through. Which I attempted to do in the last moments, but I was too late. Because I didn't expect it. Now, then a tiny little bit of a fighting here. Now I can actually do this in a slightly different way than I did last time. For a simple reason. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually switch the position of these two. Actually, no, I'm just going to deploy the mine. And then switch the position. Yes, I know. Switch positions. I'm just going to move you onto here. You should be extracting that target automatically. And we will have one bit of fighting less. Doo-doo. Doo-doo. Now, switch. Rescue. We also have one movement point extra, which is nice. Now, it would still be nice if I could deploy my own squad, because obviously they would be significantly stronger than the Task Force 5 that I have available here. Also, it would be made of 5 units, so the enemy can't just walk through. How annoying. Well, the good thing is that Miss Grey is defeated, so we're not actually going to have to deal with her popping up. Or spawning more units. Very good. 2 battle rounds, all fine. Very nice. Do I continue for a little bit longer? I want to continue one more. Just this one time, one chapter further. Neue Templo of Berlin. William's former residence. A wooden sharp blade whizzes through the air and tears down the wooden doors with the walls around them. The debris crashes onto the floor, throwing up a cloud of dust. The 2 originally separate spaces are now connected. A grey shadow has appeared in the main entrance with her back against the light. There you are. Angelia. Her greeting is answered by a bullet. Clearly unimpressed by the overly keen greeting, a figure darts out from behind the woman with the grey hair. Then the sharp clang of colliding metals reveals the weapon's true nature. Gross. What a pity, but a well-mannered office worker. I'm not good at hurling insults like a rabbit mutt. A swaying tail shields the woman's torso. A gleaming blade attached to it is the culprit behind the smashed doors. And Angie's armor-piercing rounds have not even left a scratch on her. Woman, more like a monstrosity that has taken the shape of a woman. A troop of heavily armed soldiers in white emerge behind her. Andrew Townsend dashes away without any hesitation. 12-15, I'm leaving this to you. Acknowledging the order with a low grunt, AK-15 plants an imposing form between Angie and the woman, her crimson eyes fixed on the woman's wriggling mechanical tail. Without prior warning, the tail shoots out like a hunting snake, swinging the blade at speed too fast for the human eye to catch. Chunks of the sliced up cabinet are thrown into the air by the sheer force of the impact, then they fall back into the ground under the pull of gravity and smash to bits. Huh. The grey-haired woman bows her head slightly in admiration. Not bad. A gash has appeared on AK-15's Kevlar vest where the right arm meets the shoulder. The bionic skin on the spot that has also been scraped off, revealing the suggestive metallic gleam underneath. The grey-haired woman is fast, but she's even faster. Q, Hell Entity. Public spokesperson of Galatea, as well as renowned scientist Miss Grey, the Lady of Ashes. Combat information? None. There's no information about her being this beasting in the beasting. There's no information about her in the beasting system. Stasi restored to its former glory, you say? Maybe my access clearance isn't high enough. You're not really after Paradise, are you? You simply want true ownership of the beasting system. Working with clever people can be so tricky. But the good news is, our objectives do align until we have what we want. Target located. After smashing the glass with a bionic arm, Angie grabs the disused fire axe without a thought and buries it straight into the head of an incoming Strelet. The Strelet falls limply onto its knees, but 2 more Strelets appear behind him in the hallway. Damn it. She falls back behind cover, then an explosion erupts somewhere to the west. Shaw once told her that AK-15 was invincible. She believes in Shaw. More importantly, she believes in AK-12. In that case, Angie loads a magazine into a pistol. I only have to worry about keeping myself alive. AK-15 tries to keep a distance while laying down suppressive fire. All of a sudden, a cold and dangerous gleam appears right in front of her, forcing her back. Acting on pure instinct, she drops her weapon and quickly vaults backward to pull away. The AK-15 assault rifle clatters to the floor, sliced cleanly in two. The grey blur that darted out in the peripheral vision has now been retracted. I'm starting to understand Father's obsession with Soviet technology. Unfortunately, you can only put so much distance between us in this limited space. An impressive-looking blade protrudes from between the middle and ring fingers in Gray's hands. These claws are twice as long as a head. AK-15 fires around with an MP443 at Gray's head, but the round simply bounces off a scorpion tail. AK-15 holds the pistol and draws a combat knife instead. Gray watches her with amusement, then she glances at the newcomers appeared behind her. The party too is turning into a trio then, I have no idea what that means. I don't speak French. The quality of her build is on par with, if not superior to, that of a military unit. However, she still takes damage from bullets. The problem is her tail. The mechanical tail is made of unknown material is incredibly tough and sharp. The same goes for the blades protruding from her hands. If we don't do something about that, we won't be able to take her out. The good news is, having observed her for a while, I found her weakness. Right. I thought you'd complain about me taking my sweet time. My eyes can only spot her movements, but your eyes can spot her weaknesses. I have faith in my comrade. She has really changed you. One more thing. AK-12 holds up a combat knife. Her eyes ablaze as she zeroes in on Gray. Her tail can't fend off attacks coming from two separate directions at the same time. One in front and one in the back, one from the left to the other from the right. Two snowy white shadows charge in at the same time. AK-15 calls an actual sonic boom as she takes off. In the moment it takes to draw a breath, they manage to close in and appear right in front of Gray. Sparks fly as metallic parts collide. Gray blocks AK-12 with a scorpion tail and intercepts AK-15 with her claws. She soon realizes her mistake. Her arms are not strong enough to counter AK-15's brute force. AK-15 gazes at Gray evenly as she continues to shove her combat knife closer and closer towards her face. You mad beast! Gray feels her anger rising. She seems to take personal offense at AK-15's audacity. With a flick of her enormous scorpion tail, she sends AK-12 flying. The tail then twists and makes to impale AK-15. 15! Feeling a sudden weight on her tail, Gray looks back and only then sees that AK-12, whom she thought she had dispatched, is hanging onto her tail with her ankles crossed over each other. Meanwhile, I was right. The blade is not fully integrated with the rest of the tail. The connecting section is significantly less robust. AK-12 grasps the hold of the stinger of Gray's tail and pulls the pin of the grenade that she has hooked onto the joint where the blade is connected to the tail. Then she lets go and swings herself off the tail, landing safely on the floor. You pesky. Yes, let me drink something. Oh, say hello, Tetsi. How are you doing? Admittedly, I will probably not go for much longer, but hi. Very busy. To the point that, I might have missed the first hour of my Final Fantasy raid, which was a bit awkward. I completely forgot about it. Yeah. I still have days off, though, so that's good. It was just busy because, you know, Christmas has just passed, New Year's is coming up. Yeah. Never miss a raid. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to miss a raid. I just completely forgot about it. Like an idiot. How are you doing, though, Tetsi? Gray's scorpion tail explodes with a deafening boom. Same with her hands. AK-12's combat knife and Gray's claws are locked in a stalemate. But then AK-15 lets go of a knife and instead grabs the body of the claw extending out of Gray's arm with her bare hands. AK-15's arms emit a mechanical groan. The wooden floorboards beneath her feet splinter and under the immense pressure. Just chilling and getting to bed. See, I see. Have a good night. Don't care. Gray comes to a horrific realization. This T-Dot intends to... Blue sparks are up, leaving black sharp marks on AK-15's face. She has ripped the blade clean off of Gray's arms. Catch. Okay. The 15 does not pause and tosses it directly to AK-12, who's positioned behind Gray. AK-12 catches it neatly, and then with a backhand strike... Yes, okay. I shall stretch as well. You know, a little bit at least. No impressive crack like yesterday. But oh well. The sharp blade pierces the spot where the grenade had just gone off. The stinger rides in the air before clattering to the floor. The damaged Scorpion tail strikes AK-12 again, but without the stinger, its attack no longer packs much of a punch. AK-15 seizes the opportunity to put some distance between herself and the enraged Grey. Ah, well, I'm dying to take a closer look at your construction. You gross, stitched-up freak. The two dolls reuse the strategy of attacking from two directions. AK-12 looks smugly at Grey, who has been deprived of a claw on the stinger, and picks up a gun from the floor. I'll distract the tail. Fire from mid-range. Don't worry, I have 10 magazines waiting to be emptied. They reveal the plan without bothering to speak through a private comms channel. If Grey deflects AK-12's attacks with her tail, she will have to fight this dreadful beast with only one arm. If she wrestles AK-15 with her tail, she won't be able to protect herself from AK-12's bullets. Grey realizes that it's a checkmate. Just then, 12's smile disappears and as she ducks abruptly. A saber cleaves horizontally through the air just above her head. The force behind the strike hews a groove that spans several meters into the wall next to her. Having barely avoided being cut in two at the waist for the second time, AK-12 cannot even catch a glimpse of their assailants until the figure suddenly appears right next to Grey. Grey? The girl's eyes light up with a rage as she takes in Grey's disheveled appearance. But she keeps her emotions under control. Sister Mordo succeeded. Let's go, Grig. Grig glares at the two Defy dolls warily while keeping Grey shielded behind her. She cuts right through the wall with her saber, creating an escape path. Wait, don't go after them. AK-12 stops 15, who is raring to pursue the enemies. Then with her communicator, she contacts Angie, who has been hiding behind cover. The plan went smoothly. Good, now we just have to wait. We wait for this lost driver to scurry back to its den in its panic. With all the unwelcome guests gone, Angie can finally study this mansion in greater detail. This place is really dusty. Angie waves her hand to scatter the dust fluttering around her. The room she has just entered appears to be a study. Its past opulence is all buried in a thick layer of dust. The grandiose wall behind the mahogany desk bears an intricate painting of a large yew tree with numerous branches, each offshoot pointing towards a portrait miniature. The name of each figure is labeled below the portrait. Is this a family tree? Angie walks further into the room with a frown. She looks up and studies the exuberant crown of the tree. She is quite taken aback by the sheer size of this family, but what confuses her at the very top is the two offshoots denoting the two latest family members have been scorched, and the names of the faces are utterly unrecognizable. And you can just about make out that one of them was a girl, unless the men of the family all had long hair. Renasia. Just then, Angie's communicator buzzes. Commander? Angie? Sorry, I have a favor to ask. You sound like you've gotten beaten up by 10 Siberian brown bears. You're actually not too far off. We got ambushed by Mordo. Where are you? She took Dandelion. We absolutely cannot let her fall into Paradise's hands. So please. Where are you? Hang in there. Don't give up, I'm coming to help. If you can spare the time, check in Colin for me. It's not time to discuss your epitaph yet. Commander? I've always believed that we really are allies. The connection is lost. I believe this part happened during an event that I didn't play. However, I've now been streaming for 3 hours. My voice is dying. As you can probably... Oh, hey, yeah, dude. I got the secret achievement. Wee. With this much talking, you can probably believe that after 3 hours of this, my voice is shot. I need to take a break here. So, I am going to quickly check who I can raid for today. And after that, I shall call it a day. Let's see, who is streaming right now? There aren't many people left that are currently streaming. You know what? I've been lurking in the stream over the past few days, and they make for great background noise, and also, they're quite nice. Let's go and say hello to someone who's currently playing V Rising. Who's called Strawberry Cherry. I don't know them very well, but they seem to be very chill, so let's say hello to them, as I'm going to end my stream here, and be back tomorrow with some Hunt Showdown together with Artie. Have a good night, thank you very much for being here, and I hope to see you again. Bye!